Magic cooler.
Oh,
Did
like the Magic School Bus?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I literally was about to go there, bro. That's so insane. It's a magic cooler.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
First of the year.
We're back.
First
oh,
of the
goodness.
year.
Dude, this feels so good.
It really
This
does.
feels so
honestly.
nice. Like it feels
I
more
can
like
go anywhere.
it feels more of like a professional production. You
I
know?
can literally be all the way back
Yeah.
here, like.
Hey, turn me up a little bit. Turn me up.
Hey, to me, hey,
But we're not talking to anybody.
nah, but
Yeah.
we have a AI freaking.
I want to do like a promo video of just like a Full House style shoot of like
Let's do it.
different members of the podcast,
Yeah,
but it's literally just
All
us and
like,
just different outfits. Yeah.
So down. That sounds
Yeah.
hilarious. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm super down. That sounds awesome.
Like we just put on a different outfit and one of us is back there like pretending like we're producing the show and
Yeah,
shit like that.
yeah, exactly.
One of us is back there on the lights.
Oh, bro, I love it. We got to do it like Office style too, bro.
Mhm.
Where it's just like that mockumentary, like coming in with like some interviews and shit, bro.
Everywhere you look, everywhere so hard. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look.
I don't know the words.
Yeah, neither do I. I know the melody, but I just don't know the words.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you know that.
But what is going on, everybody? You already
Hello?
know what the fuck it is. This is Too High for TV, where two guys get too high and talk about a little bit too much TV.
Just
this
a
is
little.
episode number 87.
87? Let's
I
consult.
believe.
Let's
I
consult.
haven't. I should have checked beforehand. I should have been a better host and
That's
checked
okay.
beforehand.
It's
but
okay.
you know,
We're going to find out right now.
because it was funny. I saw when we went to that that show on what was it, the 5th last.
Yeah, it's like last Friday, right?
Yeah. I was talking to my buddy Derek
Mm-hmm.
that I went to high school with, and he was asking me about the podcast and stuff like that. And he was like, "What episode are you guys on?" And I was like,
Yeah, you're correct. 87.
I was like, "Fuck, I don't
Yeah.
even know." I was like, "I think it's episode number 87."
Yep.
And lo and behold, it is episode number 87.
That it is.
The first episode of 2024. I hope you
Crazy.
guys had a great New Year.
Yeah,
hope you
Happy
guys,
New Year.
Hope you guys didn't miss us too much while we took a little, a little couple week break.
Bit
you
of
know
a
what I'm saying?
hiatus. Yeah.
But it's much needed. It's the turn of the new year.
Yeah.
We were doing things. You guys were doing things, and
Getting
we're
new
just,
things for the podcast.
Exactly. As
If
you
you
can
haven't noticed.
as you can see, we got these nice little robotic arms right here.
Yeah, they're attached to bigger robots off camera that you guys can't see.
Yeah, you guys just can't see it. We're
Yeah.
slowly turning AI here at Too High for TV.
Eventually, we're gonna be replaced too.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be bots.
Yeah, eventually
here.
we are going to be robots,
eventually.
and which will be fine, because we can just produce the podcast.
Yeah.
And just kind of like
Exactly.
sit there.
Yeah,
And just
quality
watch.
control from behind
Exactly.
the scenes.
Exactly. Let's get a beer, bro.
Let's do
get a
it.
freaking
Look at
beer.
that. Look how easy. Look how accessible it is to just move your microphone real quick and just be back to business. Look at this. If I need to kick all the way back, cool. I'm good. I need to, as I demonstrated before with the podcast, when I need to get up halfway through, as I usually do.
Today on the menu we have a Coors
Ooh.
Banquet.
Yeah, I'm down
you
for
go.
these too. I like these little ones. These beers, like the little round bottles, just remind me of like drinking in the 70s for some reason, bro.
It's really nice. I was never like the biggest on Coors, you know.
Yeah, sure.
My godfather really likes Coors, and there was one time when he came from Arizona, and they look at I could just do that
all the
and
way
freaking,
up, literally.
freaking just rearrange myself, and like I love doing like a little foot over the knee action like
Sure.
this.
Yeah, this is
Here
comfy.
you go,
Cheers, brother.
But yeah, I never was like the biggest Coors guy.
But these ones specifically got you?
These ones are good.
No.
I really like
Yeah,
these
for
ones.
sure. I think I think the Coors Banquet and like a lemon or a lime or something, and you get
interesting.
pretty close to like Corona Modelo-esque vibes,
Okay.
which that was how I was introduced to these ones. And same, like I never really drank Coors, not for any particular reason, but once I had one of these ones, I had them in the can though.
It's just like Coors is not the most like appealing thing to me, like besides the banquet, right? Like
It's just a classic.
I
beer.
appreciate the mountains and the blue mountains and like you telling me when it's like at the best, like most pristine time to drink the beer.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
but
the
it's,
gimmick, right?
Yeah, but it's like the regular Coors isn't like Coors Light like isn't tasty to me.
It's just it just is a light beer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's just, I just don't think it tastes good. Like I just think it kind of tastes like ass.
Ah.
Like I remember drinking one time and like It was the one in like the twist off top where you can like close it again if you want to.
Oh no! And like the like weird aluminum ones.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And yeah, because my godfather just likes those. He just hella loves them.
Mm-hmm.
And so he left a couple at my house one time, and there was one day I was just like, "Fuck, I kind of like just want a beer," you know?
Yeah.
And
on those days, you'll really drink whatever beer.
Yeah. So I was like,
doesn't
"Oh,
matter.
Coors Light. All right, let me fucking try it." So I opened it and I took one drink and I was like, "Wow, this is disgusting."
Not for me, man.
So I freaking closed that shit up and put it right back and said, whoever else wants this can fucking have it because I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I feel like it starts with what you started drinking whenever you started having beers and stuff, you know? Because like I think you and I have agreed that like even once you start to like develop a taste for it, beer doesn't taste good.
No, it's
So
not good. It's not good tasting. at
No,
all.
so it's just like whichever one you learn to like handle first, I think becomes your favorite.
100%.
You know? Yeah, it's like
100%.
for me, it's either Modelo or Corona. Actually, my favorite is a Pacifico.
Okay.
But just really, like, it just has to be some kind of Mexican, like blonde light beer or something.
Some
like
type
that.
of Mexican lager.
The Michelobs are really good.
Yeah.
Too. That's a light
Michelob?
beer. Yeah. Right?
It's a Michelob?
Oh, whatever.
Michelob.
I used to say Michelob, so at least I was somewhat closer.
You're getting closer there.
Yeah.
Michelob.
Michelob, whatever. Yeah. Those are good.
Michelobs are really good.
I really like
especially
those.
if they're like super. I mean, any beer like you have to drink really cold. Obviously, like if you're drinking a semi-cold like beer, like it can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
But like
I feel like you have to be buzzed enough to drink a semi-cold beer.
yeah, once you're at the point where it just like is starting to just kind of taste like water, like it doesn't really matter.
Then whatever.
But
Never warm.
No, when you're drinking your first beer, you want that shit to be cold for sure.
You know what's crazy is for New Year's this year, for the first time in a long time, I fucking shotgunned. I did a
For the first time in forever.
I shotgunned a beer. I actually did a seltzer. Technically, I think it was like a White Claw or whatever. Just because like the beer always bubbles my stomach too much. I don't even do it anymore. Really, I don't really want to, but we did. And I learned my cousin Nate. Shout out Nate.
Shout out to you, Nate.
Only shotguns warm beers because he says that when it's cold, it's too much. Like it gives him brain freeze because he's like chugging the whole thing right away. And I was like, all right, logic approved. Still not for me though. I don't want to drink any beer warm ever. Like no thanks.
No.
But I can respect it. You know, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, if there's a method to the madness, I mean, I can't do anything but respect it.
Yeah,
but
doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I'm a pretty good drink shotgunner.
Shotgunner?
Yeah, I don't do it often, but honestly, I'm pretty fucking fast.
I'm never the fastest, but I'm never the last, which is good.
Yeah,
that's good for me.
Exactly.
That's good for me.
Yeah, I never want to be last.
Nope.
I'm normally either like second or
nice,
third.
Nice.
But yeah, I never really shotgun, but it just I don't know, something like I've never wanted to chug a beer, right?
No, it's
I'm
just
never
not fun.
sitting there like, let me chug it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to shotgunning, just the idea that like, okay, I have nothing like there's nothing but the choice to chug this.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna chug it as fast as I fucking can.
Yeah, you just gotta get it down.
And I get it down.
Yeah.
I get it down pretty fast.
Get
The
it
first time
down.
I ever did it, I was surprised. I was like, oh wow, I did not think
that.
I did not think that was gonna go that
shit.
well. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for
Because
sure.
I feel like normally like your first time shotgunning, like it can be pretty fucking slow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. I think if you do it right,
You just gotta commit.
that shit comes out fast,
That's
and
all
you're
it
just
is.
like,
You just gotta
know,
commit.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to commit.
I feel like you'll also have a leg up if you're already good at like chugging stuff. You know, because like some people are crazy, bro. Like some people don't even need to. And I'm gonna preemptively pause here. Some people don't even need to swallow. But like like have you seen people chug where it literally just goes down and that's it? Like there's not like I still have.
Yeah, like like how do they do that?
I don't know.
Are they just like able to open their throat up like
I
a
think
snake
I think
and shit
so,
like that? You know,
bro,
and just
literally.
like
Yeah, because like I have to take the break to like get it down. I'm not just straight down the hatch. It doesn't just go straight into the liver, you know. But some people are just talented like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I can chug sometimes, but it's like the thing that trips me out is when like people take like really long pulls of like liquor, like when it's like whiskey or like tequila or like vodka, and they're sitting there like chugging it. I'm like, how are you doing that?
As soon as you like swallow of it, it's
and
like,
why are you doing that? First of all,
well, many reasons that are probably not the healthiest. Unless you're just trying to have a good time, then whatever. It's
yeah,
fine.
but do you really need to like chug like when people do like 6-second pulls of like.
That's too crazy.
I'm like why?
I'm down for a 3-second pull. That's what we did for a New Year's game.
I'm down for not taking a pull at all.
At all, just leave it alone.
Yeah, how about you just pour it in a shot glass for me,
and
I'll do it that way.
That is the preferred way.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say too, it's like, I mean, for people who are just gonna straight chug mass amounts from the bottle just for the fuck of it, can't really get behind it. But as a game, the rules are different. The rules of drinking in general become different for me if it's a game. Like, would I ever drink anything in a bitch cup? No.
Nope.
But I'm willing to. Nope. I sign up for that when I start to play a game, you know?
I'm very like, if I see what goes, because like sometimes people put some like fucked up shit into a bitch cup.
It can be really bad.
It can be very brutal. Like, and I will, if I land on bitch cup, I will very sneakily pour that shit out. 100%.
Really? You just get rid of it?
100%, bro.
I always
100%.
I won't ever fault somebody for like if it's at, because it's like house rules or whatever. Like I don't always fuck with that, because really I'm like, no, what are the rules? And we play by those.
Exactly.
Guys. But I will say the one thing is, it's like if you get a bitch cup and you don't want to chug it, I'm like, that's fine. You can just sip on it if you want, but that shit's gross. You should probably just chug it instead. It's gonna go down a lot quicker.
No, I'll take a drink and I'll be like, yeah, and I'll like, I'll get lost in the mix of people, and then I'll find my way to a sneaky corner and just pour that shit out.
Just get it down.
Just fuck that, dude.
Who's gonna watch you?
No.
Yeah, nobody's looking for it.
And like, that's just gross at that. Like, again, like it's only if it's like really fucking disgusting. Like if it's literally just like a cup full of just like, a single beer or like a seltzer. Yeah, I'm gonna drink it. But if it's really fucked up where you're pouring like different beers and like different things like in there,
you have to.
No, that's where I draw the line. I'm like, that's not even fun at that point.
No, like I was gonna say, it'll never be a bitch cup at the ranch parties and stuff like that. It's usually like either all beers and then a shot or something that goes in there to make it stronger, or like all seltzers and then like tequila.
Okay.
So at least it makes sense. It's like it's stronger. It's gonna get you a little more fucked up than a regular drink would.
Yeah.
But you're not. Yeah, that's insane. It's like, don't cross your drinks.
Nah.
Yeah, and then I never understood putting like gross shit in there either. Like if it's not alcohol, why, or like a juice or something that goes with it. That's just sadistic at that point, bro.
Yeah, you just love to cause people pain.
What are you doing
at that point?
That's not fun.
So what's your favorite drinking game?
My favorite drinking game?
Yeah.
My favorite drinking game is just regular old beer pong.
Okay.
Just because it's a classic, it's fun. I like basketball. It's the closest drinking game to basketball. But the one that I'm best at is Rage Cage.
Yeah.
I need a closer. I've come to learn this. When it comes to beer pong, when I have a partner, I need a closer. Because I'm a great opener. I can knock out half the cups on my first turn.
But you need someone to
come in at the end. Once it's those last few cups, man, I just start missing.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
You can't do it. So I know what side of the game I am, and I accept it. I just need to find the right partner.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I love Rage Cage just from the competitive aspect of it. Yeah. I'm a very competitive person, so I like it's very seldom that I get fucked up when I play Rage Cage.
Yes.
Because I'm normally not drinking when I'm playing Rage Cage, because I'm very good at bouncing the ball into the cup.
I also like Rage Cage too, because I feel like it's more lively. Yeah. Because you have like a big group around the table rather than just like 4 people kind of shooting. Like it could get like competitive, I'm not saying it's not, but like that shit gets rowdy.
I do love me though a good game of King's Cup.
Oh yeah, King's Cup is cool. I've only played it once, but yeah, King's Cup is cool because that's like a memory game too.
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
And it's another one where it's like if you get like a good group of people together, like that shit could be really fun, because maybe someone's coming up with like very funny rules or just random shit. I think that one's a good time for sure.
We did. I don't remember if we talked about it. This is our first episode since the new year.
Yes.
Okay, so then I haven't talked about it on the podcast before, but I think I told you about it, which was. I don't even know if it's I guess it's technically a game, but there's no way to like be good at it. But on New Year's we did one of those big giant buzz balls.
Okay.
As like a hot potato musical chairs, basically. You just went in a continuous circle. Like it's like we're not gonna pass around a big old fucking thing of that or whatever. But it was just a song playing in the background. You keep passing the fucking thing, and when the music stops, you take a pull. So like again, no way to be good at it, but just a fun way to like be like, well, I'm gonna have to take a pull of this buzz ball eventually. I'll get a shot or whatever in me.
That sounds fun.
That one's pretty fun. Yeah.
A good like pre-gamey, like if you're gonna pre-game before you go out, like a good thing to do is we actually did this in Big Bear when I went to Big Bear for New Year's. You go on YouTube and you search up.
Oh yeah.
You search up Power Hour.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be like a few different Power Hour videos that are like an hour long, and basically what it is it's just a compilation of different eras of music or different genres of music and their music videos.
Okay.
And so you hit play on the video and a music video will start playing.
Nice. And
randomly in the middle of that song, it's going to switch to a different song.
Okay.
So when the song switches, that's when you take a drink.
Yeah, okay.
And it's super fun because like it's hella good music.
Yeah.
The music videos are super fire, so you get to sit down and watch, and you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, I remember this shit. And then, like, you'll be enjoying it, and randomly, boom, it'll switch to another song. You're like, ah, shit, I got to drink.
Go. Yeah.
And you start drinking, you know, and then there's, like, a little drink counter on the bottom of it, and, like,
lets you know how far
it's an hour long.
Yeah.
It's Power Hour.
You're gonna be going for a while.
You're going to be going.
Yeah.
So you're going to get pretty fucked up when you do that. And that shit was really fun because we had, like, a nice, like, 2000s mix.
Yeah, classics.
So you got, like, Gwen Stefani, you got, like, Snoop Dogg, you got, like, a whole bunch of shit in there, and it was a good ass fucking time.
Very nice. You know, I saw one that I really liked. I'm sure I could find it again, and I'll take a snapshot of it. But it's a video we should try to do this year to just have like a straight party video.
Okay.
But still within our movie realm, which is there's a board of about I think 15 to 20 rules. That's a Harry Potter drinking game.
Ooh.
And it's like anytime Harry touches a scar, you got to take a drink.
Ah, goddamn.
Anytime blah blah, like just the classic things that happen, right? But we've also wanted to do like a live.
That would be that would be such a good fucking live.
That could be our shit, you know? It's like, and you know what we could do too to even theme it further with our shit is it can be, we play we'll call it a too high for TV game or whatever. And anytime that happens, you have the option. You can either take a drink or you could take a hit.
Ooh.
So you either get more high,
you get a little
more
cross.
Yeah,
you get a little cross.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You could be drunk as fuck by the time you're done. You could be high as fuck, or you could just get cross. You know, end up somewhere in the middle, maybe. Who knows?
I'd be down for like our 100th episode.
Hell yeah.
For that to be like the 100th episode, and we invite a few people on.
Definitely,
to do that.
We gotta have a couple more. That's a party game for sure. Yeah.
Because we're gonna hit our 100th episode this year.
Oh yeah.
In a few months.
Probably by March,
like 3 months.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe April. Early April. Damn. If we space it out right, we could have a great date for our 100th, bro.
420.
How many weeks away? No, that's too far, huh? That's still like 3 months away. We got what? We got 13 weeks.
87. So yeah, 13. So that's 4 months. No, 3 months.
Yeah.
And a week. So
if we who knows? We'll see.
March.
We'll see.
We could. We really could.
We could postpone that last week to really get things set up.
Yeah.
So that way 420 is our fucking 100th
we could postpone. Episode. Yep.
Bro,
yep, we could do that.
That's a great.
I'd be down.
It's a great date.
I think now we got to start. We really got to.
Oh, the planning
like
needs
start
to be
planning
now.
it.
Oh yeah,
100% for sure.
Because this isn't. I think we've talked about trying to have 420 like panels before. But it is something you got to schedule in advance because we also got to find out who we would get. This is business talk. This is not for the podcast. Yeah. We'll discuss this later.
I think we'd have to get Buddy on because Buddy's never watched Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's always a trip to me.
Yeah. I don't think that it's in her like preferred category of movies.
Makes sense.
You know,
they're long movies as well.
They're over 2 hours, so that's gonna rule it out right away.
Yeah, they're over an hour and a half. Yeah, so that's gonna rule it out.
You get to an hour 40, an hour 50, you're pushing it. Yeah. And then, dude, we watched. It's actually pretty funny. I liked it. It's called Self-Reliance. Do you know Jake Johnson?
Yes, I actually saw that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see the movie, but I saw the poster for that shit. And I want to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I give it like a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay.
But that's only an hour 25, and we were looking for stuff to watch, and she's all, "Oh, hour 25. That's perfect. That's great." Fell asleep halfway through the movie.
Oh god.
Granted, I did too. Like we were both tired, but still, I was cracking up because it was like even underneath her regular like acceptance for a movie length, still gonna crash the fuck out.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
God damn.
But yeah, that would be fun. That's a good one. I feel like we'd have to have Jake on.
100%.
Yeah.
We'd have to have Diggs.
Yeah, exactly. We would need not necessarily a different set, but we need to expand a little bit because this couch max I feel like can do 3 comfortably.
We could probably do it in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go in the full living room.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I could see because we have the there's there's 3 couches in there.
Oh, okay. Plenty of space.
Yeah, 3 couches and. Oh, I hate this.
Oh, the stupid sleep timer. We could also do. We could try over the next couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we could do is we can start to try to mess with double cameras too.
Ooh, yes.
Because with that many people, it'd be easier if we had a couple camera angles, maybe even a few,
Mm-hmm.
So that way you could go back and forth between like a wide shot,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of people. Definitely your boys right here.
Yep. Exactly.
Nah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're getting into it this year. We're going to try some fun new stuff.
2024, man.
It's gonna
New
be
year,
big.
new pod.
It's going to be big. New year, new pod, bro. Literally. Yeah. But yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking of this today. What is like an acceptable, like how long after January 1st is it still acceptable to tell someone Happy New Year?
Oh, I mean, to play devil's advocate, technically you could say it all year.
Technically.
It's a new year all year, right? But I would say like after January, that's probably maybe a little too late.
Yeah.
But like if somebody's telling me Happy New Year all the way up till January, especially if like I haven't seen them since the new year, like that's fine.
Yeah, I think January 31st is the cutoff. Like if you're still telling me Happy New Year and it's February, I'm gonna be like, all right, dude, like
we've been a month into this shit.
We're already into this shit. Like I get it. Like yeah. I would say I definitely say end of January, especially if you haven't seen that person. Like if you don't see that person on January 1st, then yeah, obviously like still tell someone Happy New Year for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still even think like late into January is pushing it because it's still like
maybe the first half of January.
Yeah, like I would say second half of January. It's like all right, let's slow down on the Happy New Year's. You know what I'm saying?
You only want to hear them every once in a while.
Yeah, I don't need to hear them all of January.
I would say from January 1st to January 15th, I am down for a Happy New Year from anybody.
Yep.
From January 16th to the 31st, I will only accept a Happy New Year from friends and family.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm at the fucking grocery store and somebody's trying to tell me Happy New Year, like as a cashier register or something, it's like you checked out 15 days ago, buddy. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
I'll say Happy New Year back just out of like respect and not trying to be an asshole. Being
polite, yeah.
But I'm not gonna be happy when I'm doing it. Like I'm not gonna be there like, oh, Happy New Year, like, man. Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that.
Hey man, Happy New Year. Like, New Year, motherfucker.
Yeah. Happy fucking New Year, dude.
Yeah, just New Year.
Happy fucking New Year to you, dude.
Happy fucking New Year to you too, bro.
Yeah. Any New Year's resolutions for yourself? Are you a New Year's resolution type of guy?
No, not really, but I do have some this year.
Okay.
For sure. One of them is career based, which is that I want to continue to post as much as I have, like at the end of last year and the beginning of this year so far. That's a trend I want to continue. And then also like straight up, just like on a more like legit one, personal one, is it's like I just want to learn to talk about my feelings, shit, issues, whatever it may be when they pop up. Because I very much have a tendency to just let them sit until I can't not talk about them anymore. And that's not healthy for you or the people around you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That is another big one for sure. That's like a more legit personal one that I do want to try to be better about this year and continuing on for hopefully the rest of my life.
Hell yeah. There you go.
Not good at talking about my shit. So I need to learn how to do that.
Neither am I.
It's very difficult, bro.
Neither am I.
Very difficult.
Nice.
Yeah. Hell yeah. How about yourself? You got something?
I would say like more on like the business side, like I would say like the podcast similar to your like music and stuff like that is just continuously posting your podcast because like I enjoy it, you enjoy it.
We do.
I've talked to a lot of people that also enjoy the podcast, so it's like you know what? I just need to get over the like little insecurities that I have of like. Oh, is this clip good enough? Is it funny? Is it and like you know it at the end of the day it doesn't matter.
No.
Like we're gonna have clips that are funny. We're gonna have clips that are not funny. We're gonna have 100%. We're gonna have episodes that are better than others, and we're gonna have episodes that are worse than others.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't matter.
No.
So I just need to get over that in my head of like, oh, this isn't good enough. And just post it. You know, because like. Social media, like the gimmick to social media is literally just throwing shit at a wall until it fucking sticks, you know, and it's consistent. Yeah, and I think we have like the consistency side of the podcast down for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, we're at episode 87.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of podcasts that get past episode fucking 1.
No, exactly.
So we have that down.
Yes.
Right. Now it just now I have to switch that over to just like the social media aspect of it and like just start posting shit more just to gain more traction, gain more eyes, gain more ears, to the podcast.
It's also hard too, bro, because like it is a hustle to like
100%.
be posting on that shit all the time. Like I was disrespectful towards like social media influencers and towards certain ones. Don't get me fucking wrong, I will still be disrespectful. But I have learned, like, especially over this last like month or so, that like that shit is hard. Like trying to have content all of the time, even if it's only like a few times a week, once a week, like that shit is difficult to put up, edit, like whatever, blah blah blah. It takes a lot. So kudos to those of you who do it out there. do. And yeah, no, for sure, bro. We got it this year.
Yeah. So I'd say that's like the business one. And then I think personal one is I've been smoking a lot less recently, the turn of the new year. And I've been enjoying it a lot more.
Okay.
And so I think I want to continue that of like not stop smoking, right? Because it's something that I enjoy, and it is a nice thing to kick back and enjoy a joint with a friend, with a pal, with an acquaintance, with a buddy, and but I think just for me on like just like a personal level is like I've just like learned about myself, like so like when I went to Big Bear for the trip, I brought a lot of weed with me, but I didn't smoke because like when I went there was like a lot of rules to like our Airbnb of like,
yep.
Like being quiet and being respectful of
usually
like
there's no smoking in that too.
Like but just also being respectful of like the surrounding people within the community that you're in, because everybody's there trying to have a good time, right? And like definitely. Like granted, I went with the group where I was definitely like the biggest smoker out of the group, and I don't want to like make people uncomfortable. Like, people might be okay with it, but I don't want to be out there like fucking smoking joints all day and people being like, oh, like what's up with this fucking guy?
Definitely.
So I was just there like, I'm just going to enjoy my time. Like if the opportunity presents itself where I can smoke a joint, like cool, I am. But I'm not going to like sit there and be like, oh, I need to fucking smoke a joint right now.
I feel like that's a good one to have, I think. Because like that's a good point that people don't bring up, is it's like, it's a little bit annoying because sometimes people could be annoying about it, like, oh, you're doing that around me? Like it can't.
And not that it's like a big deal. Not that like I really like care what people think.
But it is nice. It's that extra little step to keep it in mind.
But it's just like I wanted to go and have a good time, and I didn't want like the shit that I like to do be uncomfortable for the rest of the other, like for the rest of the group, and make them have like a worse time. So I was just like, I'm just gonna feel it out, and whatever the vibes are. And the vibes were mainly I pretty much didn't smoke. Like I had my pen, but like you know how it is. That's
easy.
That's
nobody
completely
gives a
different.
Shit. Nobody cares.
But like me, I'm a big weed smoker. Like I wake up in the morning, like the song, like I smoke 2 joints in the morning, I smoke 2 joints in the evening.
Smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints.
Yeah, exactly. That's me. That's me. I wake up, I'll smoke a joint. At lunch, at work, smoke a joint. After work, smoke a joint. Get back home, smoke a joint.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Exactly, and it like becomes such like a habitual thing that you just get used to it. And I think for a long time I also used that just like as a crutch, like whether it be like socially or like creatively and things like that, of like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with a bunch of people, let me smoke a joint so I can get a little looser, and like and like that may help you, and that definitely helps me at times. But I think a lot of times I can like lean on that as like oh yeah, I got to be stoned to blah 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 blah. Whereas like on vacation in Big Bear, I was just forced to like just be myself, like in public, and like just talk to people, and like I was there and I enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
This is nice.
Like I'm enjoying it, and like so I came back like just already off just like a high from the vacation itself and having such a good time.
Just a social experience.
It's just a social experience, man.
You were high off of life,
man. Granted, I did also take some mushrooms there, so that might also help as well.
Sure, why not?
But like, ever since I got back, I haven't felt like the need to be like, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to smoke a joint.
Sure,
It's like I wake up, I drink a glass of water, and I'm like, all right, let me just go about my day. And I've been having like a way better experience, at least in my eyes. Like I feel a lot less foggy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel that.
Like it's kind of like when you when you have glasses and you're walking around, your glasses are dirty. You don't really notice it, and then you clean them. You're like, oh wow, my glasses were hella fucking dirty.
Exactly.
It's kind of like that, you know.
It's
so
a
like,
great analogy.
I've just been feeling like a lot better at work, a lot less slow at work. You know, I feel like sometimes I could be a lot slower at work, and that can, play a big role into it. And yeah, I've just been having a good time, just been enjoying myself.
That's good, man.
And my tolerance has definitely gone way down. So like, I'll take like a couple hits, and I'm like,
makes you more efficient, bro.
I'm like, I'm fucking good.
Don't have to spend as much.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been spending.
Weed's very expensive. Yeah, especially if you buy it legally from a dispensary.
Exactly, and I have not bought weed in like a few weeks, which has been fucking good. Yeah, and yeah, I haven't been smoking at night, so like I've been having just crazy fucking dreams all the time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
just super crazy, vivid dreams all the time, and I'm fucking so down for it. Like where I go to bed, I'm like, fuck, I can't wait to have a dream. See what the fuck happens.
I think I'm cracking up right now because I just realized in my head it's so hilarious that we're having this conversation when the name of our podcast is Too High for TV.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
We evolve. Okay?
Understand.
We're people.
The thing is, you also have to understand your relationship with it.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And it's very easy
important
to abuse anything. Yep. It's very easy to become physically dependent on anything. So you just got to monitor yourself, right?
I think a lot of people will like. And honestly, this includes myself. Like, I'll say this shit all the time, right? Which is like, oh, weed's not as bad as like this drug or that drug or whatever, right? And granted, it's not. Okay, let me make something very clear. It is one of the best drugs you can do. I say in quotations. If you want to do drugs, right? But that's not to say that it doesn't come with its pitfalls as well. Yeah, exactly. Especially like you said, if you are like a habitual user doing it all the time, do you become like so dependent on it that you have to go to rehab not to smoke it? No, probably not, right? Depending on your situation, of course. It's not that crazy. But like you said, it can make you foggier, make you a little less motivated maybe, make you slower.
You just got to be honest with yourself about
how it is, man.
You
that's
know,
it.
like...
Because if you need it every day, that's one thing, right? Yeah. Like if you have a physical debilitation going on and like smoke is what makes you feel comfortable, cool, man.
More power to you.
Do your thing. Like that's fine. But yeah, if you're like a casual user... Oh God, I feel so weird saying user about it, but you know what I mean. If you're a casual smoker,
if you're a casual smoker,
then like it can certainly, I think, get the best of you in a way that's like very sneaky.
Oh, 100%.
It's not like a big crazy like we need to have an intervention. Your life, no. But it can certainly just take a little bit of pep out of your step, like after a while. I think. Yeah.
Like I said, you just got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, man.
If you're someone that can go about your day, literally smoking all day every day, and you get everything done. Great.
It's true. Everybody's different.
My hat's off to you.
Honestly.
I wish I could do that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Because I've come to the realization I cannot.
Need a little bit of like a break here and there.
Yeah, exactly. It's always good to take a break.
Yeah, man. From anything.
Too much of a good thing is never a good thing.
Exactly.
But
unless it's Jesus Christ, our Savior.
Yeah, exactly. You can never have too much of Jesus. But yeah, so that's the train that I've been on.
Nice.
I've been feeling really good. I've been having a good time. And yeah, I just feel good. I feel good.
That's good.
Like I said, my dreams have been crazy, so I've been fucking hella down for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a pretty nuts one the other night.
What happened?
So it happened in this dream. I think it was like, you know how sometimes you have dreams that you feel like are maybe continuations of like other dreams?
Yeah, sure.
So like I had one dream like earlier in the week where like I think there was like a wedding or something going on, but there was just like a big congregation of like my family all at one place. And then this dream that I had I think 2 nights ago, which I think was a continuation of the one I had earlier, was like there was a wedding going on. So like me and my family were in Arizona with my family there, and like I had some portion of my family came over to wherever we were staying.
Okay.
And they were all dressed up and ready to go, blah blah blah. And we were like, okay, we need to go get ready. So like we got our stuff and for some reason went to like this resort to go get ready. But apparently I didn't know that we were getting ready because I like came with none of my stuff to get ready.
Oh shit.
And so I was there and everyone's getting ready. I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what do you mean? Why didn't you like? And I was pissed at people for not letting me know.
Yeah.
That we were going to get ready, but I knew we were going to get ready.
Yeah,
and so I was just like, so it was just shit like that.
What do you think that means, bro? No.
I don't know. But it was cool because like like we were in this like super big like fancy resort, and like my mom was like, "Oh, it's all good. You can like go to my room to like get ready and like take a shower and all that stuff." So I was like, "All right, cool."
We're chilling.
So like I go to like her room, and like it's like this. I get into the room and it's like a 2-story like resort like hotel room.
Oh damn!
And it was like super fancy and like ritzy, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And like in the dream, I like had my phone out and was like taking a Snapchat and like sending it to my friends. Of like, "Holy shit! Look at there's this staircase. There's all this fancy stuff."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "All right, I need to go find the shower." So I go in and I get into the bathroom, and the shower is like huge. It's like a whole room.
Just as a shower.
Just as a fucking shower. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is awesome." It's like a whole room. There's like a little wall in like the middle where you can like set all of your like soap and stuff on there. So you like have like this super long row of like soap for some reason. I don't know.
Cool.
And I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome."
For all your different soapy needs.
And in the back, like behind the shower, was like a TV and an area to like sit.
Damn.
So I was like, "Oh, this is
Fancy.
fucking," I was like, "This is fucking sick."
Yeah.
So like I left the room, and then I come back. And then on my way to come back to the room, like on the way to go to the room, there was like a mini like movie theater. And I was like,
sick.
"What the fuck?
Yeah.
This is fucking cool." And then so I get into the shower again, right? And when I get into the shower, there's like, you know how they shoot like the new like Mandalorian and shit like now with like the blue screen or whatever in the back with the shit projected. It was like that, and there was like a big like freaking
So you can, like, shower
like a
wherever
it was like a rainforesty type shit, and I was like,
That's
"Holy
cool.
shit, this is fucking awesome." And then for some reason I left, and when I was coming back again, I was trying to make my way back to the shower again. I was naked. And I was trying to make my way through the freaking resort just fucking naked. And I was just like, "What is going on?
What's happening?"
Yeah.
Man?
And I was like, have you ever had those dreams where like you're trying to run and like you're just running super slow? Like you can't. It was like that. So I'm just like trying to run through this resort naked, but I'm also running like hella slow. And I'm just like, I wasn't freaked out that like I was naked running through a resort. I was more freaked out that I couldn't run fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, I'm just trying to get to the fucking shower."
Like, this is whatever, man.
Yeah. And then I finally get to the shower, and when I turn it on, I magically have like just a bunch of layers of clothes on. And I'm just like, "Where'd all these fucking clothes
going on?
from?"
Right when I'm finally here.
Yeah. So then I'm like struggling to like take off like 7 layers of fucking clothes. And that's where the dream ended. And I was like,
waiting for part 3.
Yeah.
I gotta wait for part 3.
Yeah. So tonight I'm gonna like go to sleep, and then I'm gonna wake up like in the shower. And
yeah, exactly. It'll just continue. The chaos will continue.
I was just like, "Dang, I'm just freaking naked running through this resort right now."
That's hella funny.
And people are trying to watch this movie, and I'm like running through this movie just fucking naked.
It's like,
and like
guys, hey,
it was so real because I felt like my dick swinging and everything too, like in the fucking
physics
dream.
of the dream were actually accurate.
Exactly. Where I was just like, "Dang, like my cock swinging and everything too." I feel it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is cool."
accurate.
Yeah, this is accurate. But yeah,
that's hella funny.
then I get to the shower, have a bunch of layers of clothes on, and I was like listening to music too, so I had like headphones on, but also like in the shower, and I was like, "Okay, I need to take my headphones off because I can't. I can't be listening."
Fuck up your headphones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty interesting dream.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
I don't think I've ever had a dream where I was like I feel like that's like a
common one.
Like at least when you like watch like TV or like movies and shit like that, right? Is like people like are going to like talk to their therapist, and they're like, "I had this dream where I was like running through school naked, and like it was the scariest thing." And I was like, again, I wasn't scared that I was
coming a little loose over here.
I wasn't scared that I was freaking naked. I was scared that I freaking. Are you good?
Yeah, I think that's the main one that's attached to it. Hold on. Let me give her some. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I wasn't scared that I was naked. I was scared that I just wasn't running fast, and I was just like,
that's hilarious. Honestly.
I was like, "Dang, I wish I could run fucking faster."
I love that. That's the thing you're worried about in that moment.
Just not running fast.
It kind of makes sense though, right? Because it's like if you're naked, what are you gonna do about it? You're like, "Fuck, okay, I'm naked. This is what it is." It's like, let me at least get to where I need to go to quickly.
Is that good over there?
I think so. Let me see. Son of a bitch. Hold on. Let me stand up and get it.
You broke it. It's brand new.
No, she's just slipping. That's all. Let me get her back on here
Nice and tight. But yeah, if you've ever had a dream where you've been naked, let us know down in the comments. What was that dream like? Were you scared about being naked, or were you scared about the other stuff that was going on in the dream?
What was your biggest concern in that moment?
Yeah. And again, mine wasn't that I was naked. It was just literally that. It was just that I wasn't running fast enough.
No, that makes sense though. Like I said, what are you gonna do about the naked situation? You don't have much of a choice then.
You're just naked at that point.
You just do what you can do, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think I was more concerned about like not running fast because like when I want to, like I can run fast. I'm a fast runner, you know.
Like usually I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah, so I was just like, what's going on?
Yeah,
like
I get it.
I should be able to fucking just fly through this fucking resort right now.
It didn't happen though. Honestly, one of the the one I crack up at this like I think it's a meme. I might be showing how
Look here, I was talking about not smoking as much. I'm gonna fucking spark. What up, motherfucker?
do it, bro. Why not?
Because it's too high for TV, motherfucker.
We're two motherfuckers get too high, talk about too much TV, blah blah blah. Anyway, fucking, I might show how bad I am at staying in touch with things right now. But one of my favorite memes, I think that's probably super old now, is it's like I just got my new shoes and nobody asked me how fast I was in them. Every time I have new shoes, I want to jam, bro. I'm like, oh, let me run with these motherfuckers and see how it goes really quick.
Dude, that was my thing when I was younger, for sure.
How fast could you run in your new shoes?
I was like, wait, Mom, let me see how fast I can run.
No, straight up. Yeah, it's like I need to make sure these are up to par with my athletic ability really fast. I feel like maybe that has something to do with like Sandlot being a big movie in your childhood, you know? Mine as well.
100%.
Yeah, Benny gets
100%.
superpowers.
Yeah.
Basically, when he puts on the PF Flyers.
Yeah.
So like you would expect, oh yeah, if I get new shoes, I'm gonna be able to jump over a fucking fence.
Have you ever worn PF Flyers before?
No, I've only ever had Converse.
So comfy.
Nice.
They are so comfortable.
Yeah, because that's the one huge downfall about Converse.
Uncomfortable.
Horrible to wear.
Yeah.
They fucking suck. After a few hours, it's terrible.
So crazy that those were like basketball shoes. Back in the
Insane.
day.
And like baseball, just sports shoes in general.
Yeah.
They just wore, that was it. You just had
Just
Converse.
super flat-footed.
Yeah, well, because also
No support.
you think about the alternatives though, and it was like probably dress shoes or like less fancy version of like a dress shoe, basically. You know, back in those early like 40s and 50s days, there were no athletic wear.
Yeah.
So
True.
that was the best you got. At least you had like movability in your ankles and shit, and it was like rubber and stuff rather than like a hard fucking thing. But yeah, insane that people used to just play sports in those motherfuckers.
Yeah. But no, PF Flyers are fucking, because I think the PF stands for like posture foundation.
Oh, that makes
or
sense.
something
Yeah,
like that.
sure. So it's better for you.
Yeah, but I remember like in middle school, I went to freaking Shoe Palace and was looking at shoes, and I was like, PF Flyers? I was like, holy shit. And I got some, and they were super comfy.
Damn.
I was tripping out. I was like, this is why Benny was running so fucking fast.
Yeah, exactly. You just
That
felt
motherfucker.
good. I had a friend in high school who had PF Flyers, and it was like the Sandlot ones, the green ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that just like a classic PF Flyer, or was there even different styles?
Yes, there
Okay,
is. So there's the all black ones, which I think are just the classic PF Flyers that you
Okay.
see in the Sandlot.
Yeah.
But there's also like black and white ones, like black, and then they have the white sole, and then there's like different colors. There's white
Okay.
ones as well.
I would expect them to have different like colorways and stuff like that. Yeah.
But like the all black is, I think, the cleanest one for sure.
Yeah. It's
I
just
I had the black with the white sole, and that was cool because I think that just like, at least for me, like went with like a lot of different outfits that I had like in middle school.
Yeah.
But the all black ones were sick, and then they had like the high tops and they had low tops as well.
Oh, I didn't even know they made low tops for those. I was always a sucker for the all black Converse too. I thought those were super dope. I had like 2 pairs of those when I was a kid.
I liked a sucker. I was always down for the classic, just black and white, but also the white ones.
The white ones are cool. Yeah, I never
was
had
always
any
down
white
for the
ones, but
white
those were
ones.
cool. The other ones I like as well that I feel like would be very specific. Like you'd have to have the right colors as like with the rest of your outfit. Is I think red Converse can look really good.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, red Converse are great. When I was a kid, I had a fucking pair of flaming Converse.
There you
I was
go.
a sucker for those. I was like an
There you go.
11-year-old with the fucking black ones with flames
you
coming
go.
up the top and shit.
Those are solid.
Yeah. But like honestly, I feel like in general, it doesn't really matter what color. Converse, if you have the right outfit, can kind of go with anything. Cause like I feel like I've seen a lot of different colors for them at this point in like their history. Sure. There's basically a little everything. Like I feel like I've seen purple Converse before.
Oh yeah.
Seen green ones. And like they're so simple of a shoe. Like yeah, you just put the right outfit with it, you're good to go.
Yeah, I think that's with any shoe. I think any shoe
That's a good
like
point.
that you have, you just have to find the right one way to style it, right? Like,
Yeah.
You can't just wear. Well,
Some shoes you
I
can't
feel
wear
like
anything with.
style is more like confidence than it is like actually like like matching stuff. You know, I think there are a lot of times like I see outfits on other people that I know that I couldn't pull off, but I'm like, damn, that person pulls that shit off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think it's just preference in that regard too, because it's like whatever you like, as long as you feel good about what you're wearing, it'll probably look good to a certain extent, right? Like maybe people will nitpick or whatever, but if you feel good about what you're wearing, that shit just shows.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Like all that matters is that you like what you're wearing. You know?
Yeah.
Not what other people think.
No, man, that's a good life. The good life lesson in general.
Don't care about what other people think, man. Fuck, dude, you chugged that beer, bro.
I guess I did, huh? Where are you at? Like halfway through? I'm just a drinker at heart, bro.
Just been babysitting this freaking. I'm gonna open that door really quick.
Take it at your own pace, man.
I've just been babysitting that shit.
Babysitting, man. Nah, it's fine. As long as it doesn't get warm on you, that's all that matters, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I need a warm beer.
It's just not good. It just ain't the shit. It ain't the shit at all. Dude, it's been ridiculously freezing lately, and I don't like it. No. Not in comparison to, like, you know, other places. Whatever. It is what it is. I get it.
But for here.
California, you know, we're not going to complain about the cold that much or anything, or the heat for that matter. But for here, though, yeah, like you said, it's been fucking cold, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, when it gets like 30-something degrees here, it's not okay.
That's not the business. It's like, whoa. I'm down for 40 at the most. Probably more like 50 is like enough to make me feel cold. 60, I'm like starting to get uncomfortable, you know? Yeah,
I mean... I'm down for like colder weather because I do like layering up and I like wearing jackets and I like wearing sweatshirts and stuff like that. So I'm not mad at it. But yeah, it is just like, it's just not normal for here, right? No. So I'm not trying to wake up and it be like 30-something degrees and I'm like freezing my fucking ass off. But then also when it's like 10:30, 11 and it should be warming up and it's still freezing. It's like, what are we doing? What's happening here?
I feel like it's also just scary too, because it's like, oh, what is going on? Like, this is not warming. Yeah, exactly. Then it like, that's what I always think of is it's like, all right, yeah, I'm uncomfortable right now and that's not the best. But also it's fucking August and it's like, or maybe it's like October, like last year, and it's like burning hot on some days still. And you're like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
See, I always wonder if it's like granted, like global warming is a thing, so that's obviously like plays into it.
Sure.
But I wonder if it's also because we're like getting older and we're just more aware of these things. You know?
Yeah. Like it's not something you paid attention to when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't give a shit.
Yeah, where I was like, I didn't care if it was like hella cold or whatever outside. Like that's just like what it was. I didn't care how hot it was outside. Like that's just like what it was.
I also have always thought to myself, and like this might be a little bit of like a pothead bullshit like theory right here or whatever, but like in my mind, I'm like, okay. We've been using the same calendar for 2024 years now. Maybe it wasn't perfect and things have just shifted ever so slightly. So it stays colder longer into the year. It gets hotter later in the year. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
Okay, it's like the calendar has been set as the calendar.
Yeah.
For 2,000 years.
Yep.
2024 years.
To be exact.
And sure, you got a leap year in there, which is, you know,
every so often.
It's every 4 years. From what I understand, I think the leap year was put in place so that the calendar does stay in line with the cycle of the year, of the seasons. But what I'm saying is like maybe 2024 years ago when they decided to make this thing, they're like, well, I mean, it's pretty close, but like if in like 2,000 years, it's going to start to come out of whack a little bit. It's not going to line up with stuff. They're like, that's 2,000 years from now. Who cares? We don't need to worry about that. Like this works. This is close.
Yeah.
Stuck it in and that's where we are.
I mean, I imagine it's something to that effect of like we obviously me and you don't know what happens in the grander scheme of like the cosmos and like what goes on.
Absolutely.
Like outside of the realm of what we know.
Yeah.
You know, so like there could be some shit going on that maybe is completely natural to the cycle of like
that's very true.
Just the universe itself.
Yeah, the overall plan.
Yeah, but we just don't know.
Yeah, because we're small scale beings, so our small scale thing is like, all right, we take it year by year. In a year, this weather should be at this point, this point, this point, and this point. The universe doesn't care about something that small. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, great point.
Because there are larger things at play that 100%. Again we just don't know. Because our scope is so small in comparison to like what actually goes on.
Yeah, it's like I forget what it is, but it's like, I think there was an experiment or like a thought idea or whatever, or a thought experiment where it's like, okay, you look at like a very thin piece of like line. It looks like a line to us, and we assume it's 2-dimensional. It's like, oh, well, there's the front, there's the back. But then like you zoom in on that. I guess this is more microverse than it is like macro big universe, but it still applies. It's like for an ant, that's a 3-dimensional space. Like that thing can crawl around all sides of it. And like, I think it's string theory is what it is technically. I could be totally wrong. But it's like that could be magnified the other way, right? Which is like we assume that this is the space that we live in. Uh-oh, is that one coming out now too? Yeah. Just got to tighten her up a little bit. That's all. But yeah, it's like that could be applied the other way in the same way that like you could look at a string and assume it's only 2-dimensional, but then, you know, a smaller being can like, you know, explore all of the different sides of that. Same thing here. Is it's like there might be planes that go farther than us, people on bigger, larger scales that view us as something like 2-dimensional, which means that their space is even bigger, right? Yeah. Or like potentially whatever it might be. I don't know. But it's wild to think about. We're a science podcast.
Yeah, 2024. We're turning into a full-on science podcast.
We're introducing science theory.
Yeah, we're gonna turn into the Joe Rogan experience.
Just get some freaking fancy theorists on here, scientists on here to explain to us the secrets of the universe.
Hey, sometimes he has people on there that like they say some shit, and I'm like, I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounds interesting.
I believe you though.
Yeah, but it sounds interesting.
You're making a good point here. Bro.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it sounds okay.
Some people are just good at talking, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
They just know how to sell some shit.
That's the thing that you have to like take, that I have to like just remind myself sometimes when I'm like watching shit.
Yeah.
Is like, damn, this fool is just could just be really good at fucking
really
talking.
Good showman, man.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck.
It's totally true.
If he is, he's doing what he should be doing.
Yeah, I guess he's doing his job technically, right? Yeah, he's getting it done.
Fuck it, man.
Fuck it, it is what it is.
Yeah, but all right, shall we get into the shit for today, bro?
Let's get into the shit for today. Let's get into our new year, new episode
vibes. Should we start on the new vibes, or should we start on like the old vibes and start with the movie first and then get into?
I was just thinking about that, and I really don't know. I would say because it's like it feels like you should start with the new vibes since it's the start of a new year.
Yeah.
But something about it also feels like we should end on the new vibes to continue into the new year.
Exactly. I don't know.
Flip a coin.
I wish I had a coin on me.
I know, shit. Let's just rock, paper, scissors for it.
All right. So I'll be, we start with the movie, and you
start with the music. Secret. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, ready?
Are we doing just one or two?
I'm usually, just one. Fuck it.
Just one? And rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yeah.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
There it is.
Okay.
Start with the movie.
No, I lost.
Oh.
I lost.
So we start with the music?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right, guys.
We're talking about music.
Exactly. Yeah. We've been wanting to do this for a while, and we talked about it last year about dedicating certain episodes to talking about music. Because if you are a longtime listener of the podcast, you will know that
we've had a few episodes, a few rants here and there.
Yeah, about music. Yeah. And we are, you know Daniel. He also goes by Devi. He also makes a lot of music.
'Tis me. Hello. Hi.
So he is a very musical person.
Yep.
I, myself, did music production for a while.
Yes.
And I have been loving music for a long, long time.
Also knows how to play the keys. Don't let him fool you like he fooled me all this time.
I can do some things.
Yeah, he can.
I can do some things.
Yes, he can.
And it's actually funny that we're doing this because before I left to Big Bear, we actually went to the bar and had some drinks, and we got into like a long ass talk about music, which was really fucking good.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So today, guys, we're coming to you with a brand new
segment.
Brand new
episode idea
of talking about a couple movies. We're still going to talk about a movie today. Don't get it fucking twisted.
Not going to leave you totally in the dark.
Exactly. Yeah. But we're going to talk about a couple albums today.
Yeah.
One that I haven't heard, and one that you haven't heard, one that you have heard, and one that I have heard.
Yes.
We're talking about Kendrick Lamar's 2015 To Pimp a Butterfly, and also Billy Joel's 1997 The Stranger. two really fucking good albums.
Was it 1997?
1977.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that was the year
No.
we were born, bro.
No. Did I say 97?
Yeah.
Did I?
Okay, maybe I'm tripping, but I
don't
thought I
know.
heard 97.
I think I said 77.
Maybe I wanted it to come out the year that I was born. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, really?
Yeah. But both super like really, really good albums.
Dope albums.
I think I don't know what I was gonna say. Two really good albums.
Mm-hmm.
Both album covers are black and white.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
One artist is black, one artist is white.
Hey,
I think we're
there you
covering all the freaking bases.
Somehow,
today.
even when we switched it up to music, we still managed to find accidentally our tie between the two things,
We always seem to do
as
it,
we
right?
always do.
But yeah, which one should we start off with?
Should we go
today?
in like historical order?
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down to start out
with
this.
Billy Joel
Yeah.
and then I feel like that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like I think this album like represents definitely like the older time, and then I think To Pimp a Butterfly is very modern, even by today. Like what, almost 10 years later that it came out.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that's on there is still very prevalent. So you know, but yeah. So Stranger,
The Stranger.
The Stranger.
By Billy Joel. So yeah, this was the album that I had never listened to. I'm not a super like I am a big Billy Joel fan after listening to this, right?
Okay, yeah.
Not
Did
to
you
say-
know of him before?
I did know of him. He
Okay.
is definitely a household name. He is
Okay.
definitely someone where I'm like, okay, Billy Joel, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I've never like sat down and like hella listened to Billy Joel.
Yeah.
And before this, honestly, couldn't tell you any Billy Joel songs. Like,
Did you know Piano Man?
No.
Oh, dang, really? I
No.
feel like that's his most classic one
No.
right there. Yeah.
Again,
Okay,
it's probably one that like I probably have heard in a certain setting,
Most
but
definitely,
like
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
sit here. And if you're like,
tell
oh,
you, like,
can you
yeah.
hum Piano Man? I'll be like,
know.
I can't tell you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So me experiencing this album for the first time, I was definitely like, I mean, I texted you, I was like, damn, this fool's getting down.
He does get down.
And
got a
yeah,
good
it was great, man. It was really, really fucking good. Pretty short for an album, right? Like for back then. I feel like for me, when I listen to older albums, they tend to be like a little longer. But this was only like 9 songs and it was like 40 minutes. So I was just like, this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think it's more like of a commercial album where like I think there's literally, I can't remember if it's in this album or if it's in another one of his songs, but like he literally has a line about like having to cut his song like shorter because like the main way you would get plays back then was radio, and your song had to be under a certain limit if you're going to be on the radio.
Yeah.
So I think it's like because that's like that's so funny that you say that because like in my mind, I was the other way. This is the out length of an album that I like.
Okay, yeah.
I like a 40-minute album. I like 9 to 10 songs, maybe 12 if they're like shorter songs, because I like an album that is like digestible in like a sitting. To me, once it goes over an hour, I have to be doing something while I'm like listening to it.
Okay, yeah.
Like
I
it's
feel
hard
you.
to sit for a whole hour or over and just
devote the
listen
time to
music.
just be like, let me listen to this. Yeah.
So I like 40 minutes. This is like, that's like a fun, so I think it's hilarious because it's like, to me, this was the good length one. And then the other one was like a long album to me.
No, I honestly really like the 9 song like length. I wasn't like, I definitely do prefer that as well. Cause like you were saying, like it's easier to sit and digest something that's 40 minutes versus like an hour.
It's like watching a 40-minute episode of something. Or like, I feel like the better comparison is like, this is like a 30-minute episode compared to like an hour-long episode or like a 40-minute episode
100%.
or something. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. Like, I what am I trying to say? So I feel like Billy Joel is someone who, at least for me, like just listening to this album, like I can't speak to like the rest of his discography and the rest of his career.
Oh yeah, sure.
But at least from this album, like I feel like he's someone who understands like his skill level. Like not that he's saying he's not skillful. He's very skillful and he's very talented.
He's a crazy piano player.
But like in terms of his singing, right? Like I don't think he's like the greatest singer ever.
No, he's like one of those like Anthony Kiedis's or like fuck, I don't know. I would even say like, what's the fucking wake up, grab a picture of a little makeup. What are they called? I just got a way to feel the shake up. You want to?
I don't know.
Fuck. Anyways, those guys. There's some voices that are just popular because they're very distinct.
Yeah.
They're unique. They're not like.
But okay, again, like he's not a bad singer.
No,
but
no.
he's not like the greatest singer ever.
He's not Whitney Houston or anything.
But he
like
understands like where he can take his vocal range.
Yeah.
And he does it very, very well.
He knows how to hit the style.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
style.
So I think like everything he does on this is super fucking good. From like the songs that are definitely like a little bit more poppy and a little bit more like faster paced, to like, you know, like his intro song.
The Stranger.
No, The Stranger's the second one.
Oh, Moving Out.
Yeah, Moving Out.
Anthony's song.
Yeah, Anthony's song.
That's a good one.
No, 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 no. Yeah. Where's that Mr. Cacciatore's or something like that?
We said the Mr. Cacciatore's down on Sullivan Street.
Saving his pennies for
dude, yeah.
Saving his pennies for someday.
Yeah, just good lines too. Yeah.
So I really like that, and then also he does so good on like the slower, like the more like slower ballad type songs, like the freaking like The Stranger is definitely like a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Freaking.
You have like the romance songs.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
She's Always a Woman.
There's Vienna.
Vienna's a great one. Yeah. I also love Just the Way You Are. It's a classic one. That's forever my Just the Way You Are. I love the Bruno Mars one too.
You're amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Not as good as this one. In my personal opinion, nowhere even fucking close to this Just the Way You Are. I love this one.
But yeah, I really liked it a lot. I was also taken back by the musicality of like the album. Like I feel like it's very seldom nowadays you hear something that is very like full and where like the instruments are like doing a lot, you know? Like I feel like I feel like the pianos are always doing a lot, like there's a lot of chords, there's a lot of like top line melodies going on. When he's playing the piano, like the guitars are always going crazy. I was really like not surprised, but I was really excited by like the drums, right? Like I'm a very big like drum head. Like I really like hearing nice drums. And like what I think it's like the sound and the style of the drums, but also like a lot of the patterns were very like familiar to me. And like very simple, but like hit with like a lot of the songs
and
as
it's
well.
Just that super tight sound too.
Exactly.
Like, so it feels like you're right there with the beat.
Exactly. So I had such a fucking fun time listening to this. I listened to it a bunch of times over the past couple weeks, and it was it was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, I love it. It's like definitely a classic for me. I think I told you when like I told you to listen to this one is like Billy Joel's the dude who made me want to learn piano. Because I like heard stuff like Piano Man, or like a big one for me is Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. Yeah. I love that song. I really have always, another big one.
That's the bottle of red.
Yes. Yeah. The bottle of white. Perhaps a bottle of rosé. Yeah. So good, bro. Yeah. But I love songs like that. And I feel like you get that in a different way. Nowadays, it's interesting because like that's probably my favorite song on the album, on this album, is the Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, because I just like the story of like the whole thing. Maybe not in like, you know, the lyrics or whatever. I think for the most part it's like a little bit poppy, right? And there's like a lot of different things going on. But for the music, which you know me, I'm always first and foremost there for the music. It's just like a story of stuff. And it's crazy because like the other album we'll talk about, To Pimp a Butterfly, I heard somebody on YouTube say T-Bap, and I was like, I get it, but I don't like that.
We're just like in this, we're like in this era of like people don't want to say the whole album, so they like want to like shorten it to like some acronym.
It's not huge. It's not a huge title, but it's like a little longer. I get it. Like just To Pimp a Butterfly. Just it better. Anyway. The thing that I got from that as well, which I thought was very similar to this song, is like that storytelling of like there's there's seldom a break in the music between different musical ideas. So like, you know, like you can continue over one thing, but like there's something to get you in between, oh, this style of song versus that style of song, or whatever it might be. Yeah. Oh, get on over there, Patches. But yeah, it's crazy. It's cool to see, and it like definitely like shifted my like perspective in terms of like thinking like, oh, that's dead and it's never coming back again. Like only people in the old days did that. I'm just like, no, it does still happen now. But that just stick on this album for now. That just idea of having multiple different songs really contained under like a single song title, like that's just all one thing, is just like such a cool idea to me. I just love it. And like it reminds me of like, I think if I'm not mistaken, why they call classic rock. Like it's not because it's like, oh, these are the most classic rock songs. It's because like certain people like this took to arranging rock and roll R&B songs in a classical sense. Thank you, sir. In like a classical manner where there's like instruments that come in and out, or like a lot of different instruments that are doing their own parts and stuff, like you were saying. Like I think that, if I'm not mistaken, again, I could be totally wrong, I think that's why they call classic rock like that, because it is classical in that sense. But yeah, I'm a sucker, and I love just like you know me, I'm a big fat romantic. Absolutely love me some good romance.
Oh yeah,
I'm a very sensitive boy. And so to me, it's a toss up between this song, Just the Way You Are, and a Beatles song which is called Something, that are my favorite love songs, like, of all time. And I fucking adore it on this one. I think it's so good. I just like it because I feel like it's like honest, you know?
Yeah.
Cheers. And I like that it can be like, not like raw sounds too intense, but it's just like honest, you know?
Yeah, he's very honest in like his songwriting. Like,
yeah,
like all of his songs, there is a very distinct message that's going on.
Yeah.
Like from like even from like the first song, the fucking intro, Anthony's song or whatever, when he's literally talking about like seeing all these people do like these very like menial things to get like the small amount of money to quote unquote like move up in the world, right? And he's like, fuck, dude, if this is what it means to move up in the world, he's like, fuck it, I'm not down for this shit. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And like that's such like a real thing, and that's something that's like still like very relevant today, right? As like a kid growing up, like, you know, you're like when you're like super young, like 12, 13, like you're not aware of like, you know, what it means to like be more like successful and to like gain like things and to like what it like how it is like in the world and shit like that. And but like when you start to grow up and you start to see that thing and you like it can open up your eyes, like that's a very like real experience, like that's a very like real ass fucking thing that he's talking about. And then songs like The Stranger, where like, you know, everyone has these faces that they don't put on for anybody else. Right? And like that's such like a real fucking thing. And then going into like the song where it's like Just the Way You Are, when he's talking to this girl of like, you don't have to act this way, you don't have to act that way, like you don't have to be this person you think you want me to be, like, or you think I want you to be. Like, I like you just the way you fucking are. Like, so he does like, and even like in Vienna too, like,
that's a good,
you know, one. Telling kids to like, hey man, like slow the fuck down. Like it's what okay, you like, what you want is there. Like what you want is there, and you will get there. I like it too because it's like it is what you want is there, and you will get there, but you have to go there. Yeah, exactly. You have to go there to get it. It's not gonna come to you. Yeah, like Vienna waits for you, right? Is the whole thing. But like you said, he's also like, slow down though. It reminds me of this quote. I can't remember who it is. It's like this, he's like an older dude, like, and he's winning an award on something, and like he says like the 3 things I live by, I can't remember the other 2, but the first one I always remember is the fastest way to get where you want to go is slow. And I love that line of like, yeah, you know, take your time to get there. It's okay, like you got to get there, yes, and you got to do the work to get there, but like don't rush into it. You're gonna fuck shit up maybe. Who knows. But great album. I love it. It's awesome because like I think there's the one thing I was like nervous about going into this episode was like, I think, you know, I'm not a very like lyrical guy. Not that I don't pay attention to lyrics, but I don't think very hard about them. And I think it's because I'm like a musician first. So like it's very cool because I honestly never even thought about what like that at least with what do you call it? Moving Up or Moving Out or whatever it is, Anthony's song. Never really thought about all that stuff you just said right now. So that's like new brain thoughts to me, bro. I was like, because he's talking about, that's so like, cool. I like hearing that. Because like the first verse is like, he's talking about, he's like, oh yeah, this dude's like literally like working at this grocery store, saving up his fucking pennies to like someday, to do what? And like literally that song is also about like fucking like the government and Uncle Sam like taking all of your fucking money, like, and it's just hard for people to like, and it's crazy how like in the 70s he's like noticing that.
Oh yeah.
And like
yeah.
now it's still like a fucking thing, right?
100%. Yeah,
but like
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's mainly because I grew up on hip hop, and a lot of it is like
Lyrics.
analyzing the lyrics
Yeah.
and like what is this artist saying. So like there's a lot of times where like, because I can do that in songs where I get into like the feeling of the song, and I will just like space out on what's being said, and I'm just like, oh, I like kind of like how this feels right now. But there'll be times where like, especially with like this album, I'm like, fuck, what did he say right there? And I have to like rewind it, or like I realized I like spaced out halfway through like the rest of the song and like wasn't thinking about the lyrics and was just like kind of bopping along. I'm like, fuck, what was he saying?
So
like,
that happened to me when I was listening to.
So like I'll like replay the song and I'm like, okay, this is what he's saying.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and I also think it's like it's interesting to me to pick up on like stories that are being told in like ways that I'm not used to receiving them, right? Like I'm so used to listening to rap and hip hop and like R&B and like getting the stories presented to me in a certain way. Whereas this is definitely like very different. Like this is definitely outside of my like realm of like music that I listen to on a daily basis. Yeah. So it was definitely interesting to me to get like these stories and like just to listen to them and be like, oh shit, like this fool's not just like saying random shit that sounds good together. He literally has these stories that he's telling you, and there's these messages that he's telling you, and he's like, here, I'm putting them out. But guess what? They're also going to sound good as fuck, motherfucker, because why? I'm fucking Billy Joel. Yeah. So
he's a man.
I really get into like, okay, what's this person saying? Like, what's this person talking about? That's why like songs like The Stranger are so intriguing to me, because like it is like a very deep conceptual song talking about like, you know, we don't show our true selves to even the people that are closest to us sometimes. Yeah. And even sometimes when we put that face on to ourselves, we don't even recognize it, and that person's a complete stranger, you know, and it's just like, fuck. Yeah. So let's talk about some real ass fucking shit.
Right now, big time, dude. Yeah. I think overall, as a whole album, because like we're talking about it as an album, right? Both of these things, it's like, because I am so attached to like it, and I have a sentimental like history with it, in the sense that like, again, he like made me want to learn piano and like all of that stuff and everything. It like sits up pretty high for me. But I will say the last two songs on the album don't bring as much overall as the rest of the album. Okay. I think just because like the second to last one is like that like upbeat one that's like get it right the first time. Yeah. Which is like a fun song. Not saying it's a bad song. I think it's a fun, great pop song. Same thing with the last one, like everybody has a dream, right? Yeah. Those are they're good songs, but in that sense is where I really do feel like the commercial aspect of what I was talking about earlier, where the other ones felt a little bit more like you said, like they had a deeper meaning to them and there were stories that he did want to tell. And to me, at least that second to last one for sure, and like even the last one a little bit, feels like it was phoning it in a little more in terms of like the theme of the like overall song, you know? I feel you. I feel like that's for me too. Like they're the more poppy songs. Yeah. I think that's like for each of the listens, like I feel like that's where I tended to like taper off and be like, oh, okay. Like I'm not like you said, like these are good songs, but they're not like, they're not as bangery as the other ones. Or at least like what we like appreciate more so, like, because there might be people out there that are like, oh, those songs are That's very crazy, true. That's very true. I get down to that, what do you call I do like it, and I'll keep it on up until get it right the first time. That's the main thing, because I just love like like it has that like you know, kind of fun, more like Latino beat to it a little bit, right? And it's like I like that shit, but yeah, it just falls off a little, right? It just a little bit at the end. That's just because I feel like it's okay. It happens from time to time, but yeah, overall, I still love it. It's like probably one of like if I was on the spot and somebody told me like pick a top 10 albums, this would probably be in it for me. Maybe more like top 15 or something like that if I really thought about it. But like off the top of my head, this one comes up there pretty quickly for me.
No, yeah, this one was really good. This is definitely one that like I saw having like replay value for myself because of songs like Vienna, because of songs like The Stranger, and also like the intro and stuff like that, where I'm just like, holy shit, like I really enjoy what's going on here. Like it's really moving me, and it's also checking off a lot of my boxes of like, okay, he's got a song with a message in there.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's something's happening.
Yeah, something's happening.
Yeah.
It sounds really fucking good.
Yeah.
And like, because those are like the most important things to me. Does it sound good? Okay. Is he saying something? Okay, that's what I like.
Yeah, definitely.
So like, I don't need much more than that, but I think those are just very fucking important.
Yeah,
it's got to sound good.
It's crazy too, because it's like I feel like those are just like unconscious, like I don't want to say needs. I guess like preferences is better. That like the general like zeitgeist like has for music, right? Which is like hits are hits, and it's kind of undeniable, right? But like sometimes people will be like, I don't get it. Why is that a hit, when they're like thinking about it too hard? But I feel like for the most part, like people can tell a hit because it just checks off those two things in some manner or another. And it's like, maybe it doesn't get analyzed till even like 30 years later. And then somebody's like, wow, this is the real deep meaning behind this song. But it's like, we just like subconsciously know when it seems to like hit those things. I don't know what it is. I feel like, I mean, there's preference here and there, right? But in terms of just like what is like the big stuff.
I also feel like most of the time, like most big hits fall like more on either one of those sides.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Of like sounding really good.
Yeah.
Or like having a super strong message.
Because sometimes you can get away with like having so much of one that it doesn't matter that you don't have it.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You're like, wow, this song like is just so fun and sounds so good and has such a good groove that like
doesn't need the
lyric. I don't care. Like one of them, like to me, a song that like I think about is like the Robin Thicke, the hey, cause you're good. Like he's not like, what is he really saying in that? Like he's not really saying too much in that song, but like it's so fun and it's so catchy groove, and it has such a good groove that like, okay, I don't care that he's not really saying. Like I don't really care that Robin Thicke isn't saying that much. Yeah.
I know you want it.
I know you. Like it's, dude, that shit's so good. That shit's so fucking good.
No, that's a great point. Yeah.
But then you also have songs like on To Pimp a Butterfly, right? Not to get too far ahead, but
that's okay. Yeah.
But something like an All Right.
Yeah.
That definitely has like a definitely bigger, deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I would say like falls definitely more like in the middle of like sounding super good and then having a deeper meaning, but maybe falls more on the side of like having a bigger, like deper meaning
message. Yeah. I was even gonna say like I think it's called Mortal
Man. Yeah.
There's literally no music in it at one point, and it's just a conversation. But again, like that shit's so rich that you're still tuned in listening to what's happening because it's like because it has that meaning and that message or whatever it is. So like like you said, it could like those are probably like the two heaviest like sides of the spectrum that you could go to, because literally one, like you said, is just all music, right? It's just a good pop song, and the other one can go so far as to be like no music at all, and still be impactful.
Yeah, and such a groundbreaking like message that it's just like such an undeniable like, oh my god, this is so fucking good.
You don't have a choice but to listen.
Yeah,
it just takes your attention.
Exactly.
Even though there's no music, you just like, I mean, it has some of it in the beginning and in the end, right? But like the middle part, like when it's just like the interview or whatever it is, right? Or like the conversation that he's having.
Yeah, with Tupac. Yeah.
It's a Tupac?
Yep.
Actually Tupac?
So it's a spliced like.
Oh, okay.
So it's like that's like an interview, like so all the things that Tupac is saying, he already said like in an interview.
Okay.
And so it's just like a splice. Like Kendrick has his own questions that he like that they spliced together that sounded really good.
Like reframe like their answers and stuff. That's cool. Exactly. That's awesome. Hell yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, cool, crazy. That's dope shit.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, sorry. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess one thing I did want to ask, because like I figured it'd be like a fun little like post thing before we or pre thing before we get with the final score. Is if you have one, what was your favorite song on this first album, on The Stranger?
Favorite song? Shoot.
Or just top couple or three.
Top few.
Ones are your favorite. Yeah.
Vienna for sure.
Okay.
Songs from an Italian Restaurant.
Yep. Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
Yeah. I think I said it wrong earlier too.
The Stranger.
Yeah, it's a classic.
And then the intro. And then the fucking the one where he's talking to the chick and telling her like,
oh, just the way you are.
Just the way you are. Yeah. So those are probably like my five.
Okay.
That where I'm like, okay. Like in no particular order. Those are my five.
Yeah, those are the ones.
For sure.
Scenes from an Italian Restaurant is probably my favorite. I do like The Stranger a lot because just like the for one, I think the whistling in the beginning is like iconic. to me.
That's the.
Yeah, that one gets down, bro, because it just starts with like that slow whistle and then and it gets into it. Anyway. Yeah, bro, it gets down, bro. I love it. Yeah, that one, and then probably like as a tie for like a top 3 is either Just the Way You Are or also She's Always a Woman. Because I do really like She's Always a Woman too, because it's just him and the piano and like a couple little pieces that I actually like just heard the last time I listened to it for this. But like that's a great one to me too, because I feel like that one's like an even more honest like love song of like, oh, she does all these things that like hurt me or do this or do that. Like she'll lead you to this, she'll lie, blah blah. She's always a woman. You always love her. It doesn't matter, whatever it is, kind of shit.
Real shit, bro.
Yeah, I like it.
Real shit.
Yeah, but yeah, overall though, like if I'm being objective, I would probably say like an 8 out of 10, just because again I feel like it does kind of fall off on those last couple of songs there. But for me personally, I would probably give it like a 9 or like a 9.5.
Nice.
I would love say this album.
Cool. I would say like I'm at like an 8.5. 8.5 for me. It was really good. Yeah. Really good. Yeah, it does fall off. It does fall off for me at the end for sure.
Those last 2 songs just aren't it as much as the other ones are. Yeah.
But it was really good. Definitely something that I'm gonna continue listening to, and definitely gonna venture more into more Billy Joel for sure.
Nice. So
I'm glad. I'm glad you suggested this one because I had a great time fucking listening to it.
Good. I'm glad. Reawaken that bitch. All right, I gotta take my I was gonna say annual. My annual. I wish it was annual, bro. If it was only once a year, that'd be much better.
Your once a year piss?
That'd be great. But it's unfortunately a weekly thing. I mean, it's more than that, just to clarify. Don't only piss once a week. That would be bad.
Yeah, you would need to go to the doctor.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be here right now. But
yeah, you're gonna go to the bathroom, and then we'll get into some T-Bap, bro. T-Pap. T-Bap. T-Pab. T-Pab. To Pimp a Butterfly.
I don't like it.
But yeah, guys, let us know down in the comments on YouTube or just in general. Like if you want to go to our Instagram page and on our latest post, let us know down below. What is one of your favorite albums that you've ever listened to in your life? What is something that gave you evoked such emotion within yourself that for the rest of your life, you're like, no, this is one of my favorite fucking albums. Because this next album we're going to talk about is definitely one of those for me. To Pimp a Butterfly is one of those albums that, like, I remember exactly where I was, like, the first time I heard it. I remember what I was feeling when I was listening to it. And, like, yeah, it was just so fucking great. But, yeah, let us know down in the comments what's your guys' favorite album. And actually let us know. Listen to Billy Joel the Stranger. What is your favorite song off the fucking album? And what do you think about Billy Joel? Do you really like him? Do you think he is a household name? Do you think he is a GOAT by your standards or society standards or whatever standards that you decide someone is the GOAT? Because yeah, I thought he was fucking solid, and I'm excited to listen to more fucking Billy Joel. But yeah. That was a very quick pee. That was a very fast pee. I will have to say, I am like hats off to you on the quickness. The speedy pee, man. Some speedy pee. But yeah, shall we move into some T-Pab, bro? To Pimp a fucking Butterfly. As long as you say To Pimp a Butterfly. Oh, dude, I will say To Pimp a Butterfly.
Then yeah, let's do it. Let's get down.
So yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly, 2015, Kendrick Lamar's sophomore album.
Dang, this was his second album?
So this
Get the fuck out of here.
This is I will say this is technically like his third. Oh, is it fucking?
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think it might be this thing right here. Because when you turn it, if this is too tight, then it's just gonna start to slip off. Okay. So this little thing right here, if you wanna like loosen it, it'll help you. Yeah, it'll help you turn the top part without like. Yeah, without pulling the whole thing. Because that's what's happening, right?
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
But yeah, so I guess technically it is his like third album, but this is his sophomore album on a major label. Okay. So 2012 he dropped Good Kid, Mad City, and that was his debut album on a major label.
What was his
His very, very first one, his very first like album release was called Section 80. And that one is super good as well. Like, that is definitely something you should go back and listen to, because it is like in a lot of his music, you can hear like the beginnings of To Pimp a Butterfly. Like, you can see like he's always wanted to do something like this, but it just took like, you know, him turning into like the biggest artist in the world to be able to have the creative freedom to make a very heavily jazz and funk inspired album, you know.
Also I think like pretty political, bro.
Oh, very
for the time.
Very political.
Definitely big time.
Very, very political. But yeah, what like I'm interested. What were your thoughts on To Pimp a Butterfly? Because this is your first time listening to this album as well.
Yeah.
Yes?
So it's my first time listening to the album. What I thought was hilarious was like, because I think when it goes to my relationship with like rap songs, most of the time, it's either like, no, I've never heard this ever, or like I say like, no, I've never heard this, and either you or Ev or Diggs is like, no, you fucking heard it, bro. Like, I've literally been with you while you heard it. Shut the fuck up. And I'm like, no, I never heard it. And then it plays, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do know this song. These are like most of the Kendrick songs that I know, like not like intimately or anything like that, but like all of the ones in my head, if like somebody mentions Kendrick Lamar to me, most of them come probably like from this album, which was like funny to me, but also like very relieving in a way. Cause I will say like I was a little scared when I saw how long it was, but I think this is one that I don't mind being as long as it is for the most part. Like there's some times where I do want it to move along a little bit quicker, but I love the like I was saying, I thought that like a full piece in terms of like a musical piece, I thought it was like lost, right? Like piece, like Piece, like a puzzle piece was like lost. I didn't think that happened really anymore. And like albums to me nowadays, like I think this is kind of what we were talking about at the bar, if I'm remembering correctly. Like at times are just like a bunch of singles slapped together that don't really have. Yeah, anything.
These are all the songs that I've been recording and like, cool, I'm gonna put this on an album.
Throw them out there, But like the idea of like almost like a concept album, if you will, right? Of like there is a legitimate theme going on the whole time. And not only that, but like the story is being told in like an interesting enough way sonically for a listener like me, who again like won't always like tune into lyrics first and foremost. Like there's a lot of there's so much like music happening in the back, and then like transition work happening between songs, or even like in the middle of a song, that like it's like in the same way that like tuning out and pulling note music in what's it called? It's called Mortal Men or Mortal Man? Mortal Man pulls your attention in. Like this pulls my attention in the same way, where it's like, okay, well, I'm here, I'm grooving, like I don't have a choice but to listen to what's going on right now. And like again, it's just the way that the story's told and how it's like slowly unveiled up until that interview at the end, which I love, right? Because it's like you get teases of it the entire time. It's just so cool. So I was like, I was intimidated at first, and then by the time I got through it, I was like, oh no, yeah, this is like a whole journey that I like, that feels like a modern way of the way I like albums to be like presented to me. I will say at times I got, not even at times, all of the time, I got very, very lost when I was trying to follow the lyrics. Cause like I'm not experienced listening to like a lot of rap stuff, and it goes very fast for my tiny little brain when it comes to like digesting lyrics and stuff. So there were a lot of times where like, if I was like really adamant on like trying to figure out what like the meaning of the song was or whatever, I would have to go back and listen to it again. But I will say on some of them, like there were some that just got like the very like beginning is probably like one of my favorites. What's it called? Like Wesley's Theory. Yeah. That just like drops in so fucking hard. That's a really good one. All Right is also just like great, but I feel like kind of like fake saying that's like one of the best ones or whatever.
It's easy because of how big it already is.
It was huge. Like that was probably the biggest song off the album, right?
I would say so for sure. Because it's that, and it also like goes hand in hand with like the Black Lives Matter movement as well, because like the "We Gonna Be All Right" like turned into like a slogan and like a saying for them, and like just a saying for like just black people like in general, of like 100%. Living in America in a place where like you know, they are still like discriminated against.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
it's like a saying that holds so much weight and so much power for them. You know?
100%. It's like an anthem. Like, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But even still though, like that one is just so fucking groovy too. Like from the music standpoint, like
King Kunta's another one too.
That was the other one I was gonna mention. That
I got a bone to pick. I don't want you motherfucker sitting in my throne again.
That one's fucking insane, bro. It's crazy.
I'm mad. He mad.
Yes, yeah.
But I ain't stressing.
I also really love, I think it's called Complexion. That's a great one too.
Complexion don't mean a thing.
Yes, bro. What I loved, one thing that I noticed is, and it like, maybe it was just because the thing that you had said, like going into it was like, it's like jazzy. Like, and it's not even just, I think, like it's in the music, right? Like where like a lot of the stuff like does feel like jazz, and it's even like so jazzy at points where it does feel like a lot of like improvisation just going on from like a lot of different things, which is cool. I love it because it still all fits together to build like sick grooves. But what I tripped out on is like I was like thinking about while I was like listening to like Kendrick specifically, in my head I couldn't help but like think like, oh, he's like if it was like a Miles Davis album, he's just the horn player,
dude. It's
with lyrics.
It's actually really funny because there's the second song, The For Sale, where it's like, it's literally he's like he's like literally like he's like a horn or he's like a sax or he's like something. It's funny because did I send you the podcast, The Big Hit Show or whatever?
Oh, I think you told me about it. Yeah, so, maybe you sent it to me.
Yeah, so The Big Hit Show is a podcast on Spotify where they talk about like big hits, whether they be like music, TV, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. But this is like an album that they talked about, right? And so I went back, I listened to it before, but I went back and listened to it in preparation for this just to like hear more stories and stuff like that. Yeah. And like in making the song For Sale, like he was listening to a bunch of Miles Davis and was like super inspired by Miles Davis.
Yeah, totally.
And was like, okay, I want to do something like this, you know? Cool. And he played the song, he like did his lyrics, and the person that's like playing like the trumpet, like in the back, like he like brought him in. Yeah. Like Kendrick brought in like a lot of like very like reputable jazz players within like the modern jazz like scene, you know, because you have like George Clinton, people like that. Yeah. Terrace Martin is another person that's like super big on like the album Thundercat. You know, people like that. Awesome, and he literally brought the trumpet player in, and he was like, "Oh, well, he's sounding like blah 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 blah. So I'm just gonna play as if his voice is like a saxophone or something like that." So they're playing around it.
That's so fucking cool to hear. I love that. Yeah, because like that was the thing that I could, like I said, I just couldn't help but think the entire time was like the music he has underneath everything like does feel so jazzy, and then like even just in the times where he's not being so like melodic with his like verses and stuff, or like even hooks, sometimes there's still like the rhythmic like idea to it is like that like like it feels like you know, if it feels fucking jazzy, and it's like hella cool. I really like that a lot. And like I think a lot of the times, like, again, that took my attention like so hard that like I did have to go back, because I was like, oh fuck, wait, I'm not digesting the words that are happening here. I'm just like, I was listening to him as a musical instrument, which is like crazy, like double-sided coin, because it's like, fuck, okay, I'm not hearing what he's actually saying, but I'm like listening to what he's saying or how he's saying it. I don't know, it was weird. It was definitely a trip, and I enjoyed listening to it, because like I did have to go back from time to time and stuff, but overall I loved it. Like I said, it did take me like a little bit to get through. I listened to like probably half of it like on the first day, and then I went back like a couple days later, and I listened to just like all the songs throughout the day, and then I sat down and listened to like the second half of the album just to like refresh my memory on everything going into the rest of it. But it's worth it for like it's like an hour 18,
hour 16, something
hour
like that.
16, yeah. Like to me, that is an album that's worth it. There's only a few that are over an hour long that I'd be down to like try and listen to like all the way through for real. And this is one of the ones that I would say is for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I think like I would say that like if you're not like a big fan of rap, I don't think this is like the one to get you like into rap
Mm-hmm.
necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like have brushed elbows with it and you're like kind of down, I think it's for sure one that like, you probably have to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're more into like modern rap.
Yeah.
Right. It's probably like maybe not the album that you would love listening to, but like for someone like me that like grew up on just like old school hip hop, like listening to like A Tribe Called Quest, listening to like Wu-Tang, listening to, you know, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, like all these people, like it is something that was like, I remember at like, because this is like 2015, so I'm like 16, maybe 17 at the time, depending. Like this, I remember having such like an impact on me as a teenager and being like, holy shit, like this is one of the, if not the best rapper in the world.
Oh, at the time, probably, right?
I think he still is. Like,
Yeah.
I think he really still is.
Yeah.
And like doing some, like making an album with songs that are not just like, hey, I am like declaring himself the best rapper. Like he's not like on the album a lot of times like talking about that.
Sure.
But he is taking the time as a big superstar to talk about like serious topics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like also like making it sound like super fucking good, you know? And I remember it just having such like an impact on me of like, holy shit, like he's talking about like this, he's talking about that, he's talking about like the black experience like in America, right? And also from an angle of like being from somewhere like Compton and getting out and being a big superstar and seeing the world, and also coming back and telling like his experience with that was just like so powerful to me and left like such an impact on me. But it's just like just a testament to how good he is as just a writer in general, not even just a songwriter, but just as a writer of words. And his ability to,
he's a poet too,
his ability to observe the world around him and then write songs to somehow like try to make sense of it by like not necessarily making sense of it, but like
his perspective
and like bringing his experience, and like you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh, like okay, like, you know, he is right about this, or maybe he is like, you know, because there's a lot of songs where he's like, you know, like maybe poking holes at the way he thinks, you know, and like you know, him talking about like whether it be like, you know, because like the whole poem that is going on like throughout like the album is like so important because it really talks about like his experience like becoming famous, and then all of a sudden having all of this like feeling like he has all this responsibility for like his people and like from where he comes from, and like where he comes from, not just being like from Compton, but also like taking a journey to like Africa and being in South Africa and like seeing what Nelson Mandela went through, and like being like, holy shit, like this is totally applicable to like what's going on at home and shit that. I remember being like, holy fuck, dude, like this dude is on some fucking shit. And like that's why I love songs like Mortal Man is definitely one of my favorite songs, because he's literally talking about like, you know, I want to be all of this stuff, like I want to be a voice like a Nelson Mandela for my people, but are my fans still gonna be my fans if something happens? Like if I go to jail like a Nelson Mandela, are all those people still gonna love me, and are those people still gonna be there for me like they were for him, and stuff like that? And it's such like, it's something that you don't really fucking hear, right?
How does it go? It's like, are you still gonna be a fan when shit hits?
When shit hits the fan, are you still a fan? Yeah,
that shit's good.
Like that shit, like you know, songs like that, and then songs like Institutionalized, you know, like, you know, shit don't change until you get up and wash your ass. Like that shit's crazy. Like it's like so good. Like, you know, songs like These Walls, songs like awesome. I is
that
like
one's a great one.
One of my favorite, dude, like one of my favorite fucking songs.
He
and
just breaks down at one point and just starts talking to you. Again, like other shit, or talking to like the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Like in that like live setting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so good.
And that's such a good song because like, yes, he's talking about a lot of things that pertain to like the black experience in America. But it's also like there's a lot of songs that like you can take messages and like apply them to like just yourself and stuff like that. Like songs 100%. Like he's literally talking about like talking to people like that were depressed and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know, just talking about like loving yourself and doing all this shit like that, you know, and it's such a powerful message. And like a song that was a single that came out as a single before the album came out,
that's
and
crazy.
A lot of people didn't fucking like.
Dang, that makes sense to me, but that's crazy because that gets trippy. Like, my first reaction when you said it was released as a single was like, damn, that's a crazy one to release as a single.
A lot of people didn't like it because after Good Kid, Mad City dropped, like he is heralded as like the next great rapper, like the next one, like looked at in the same light as a Tupac or a Biggie, where he's like, this is the next guy that's going to be out here, that's going to be championing for us, that's going to be talking about, you know, things that should be talked about.
Yeah.
And like, and after Good Kid, Mad City, you had like, you had all this stuff like Trayvon Martin, the Michael Browns, the Eric Garners and stuff like that. And like, he didn't really come out with music talking about a lot of stuff like that. And people were like, almost like, what the heck? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, and then he comes out with that song and people were like, okay, this isn't what we like want to hear from you at this time.
Sure.
You know, we want to hear something like, you know, like I think he came out with the next single was the Blacker the Berry or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So that was like his next single, which is
more crowd pleasing at the time.
Yeah, which is definitely more unlike the, you know, the political route, talking about like, you know, the things he's talking about in that song. So, but like I is like one of my favorite songs for sure.
That's
like I love that song.
That one I like too, just the way that song is like recorded.
I'm pretty sure it's an Isley Brothers sample.
Yeah, I think you're right because I know I heard it earlier and I just could not fucking remember what song it's from, but I know that song like for sure. But I just like the way it's recorded too, because like I think he recorded it in like an actual live setting.
I don't know.
Maybe he did.
Know.
I don't know. I thought I was listening because like I was trying to hear and like I thought it sounded like the crowd was like on a loop or whatever. Either way, it doesn't matter. I think it's cool to set it up like that because just like, again, like sonically, like listening through and everything feeling so tight, and then you getting closer to like the end of like a longer album. It's cool to all of a sudden feel like you're transported into a room just listening to him like talk, or he raps and there's like the jam going on too. But like, it's crazy. It's such a cool like switch up that I really like, which is this like, yeah, like all of a sudden you feel like you're in the room with him. And then it sets you up for like how intimate that last song gets too, right? When it gets into the interview and stuff like that. And it's just so good. I like it a lot. But the other thing too that I was going to bring up was like, on my first time, when I listened through like the first half of the album, at first, for like the first few songs, at least for some of them, I was like, damn, all right, some of these seem like a little like basic to me, like where it's like, oh, like I forget, I can't remember if it's King Kunta or like something like right before or after that. But like one of them like was like a lot about like, oh, you just wanted this dick like now that I'm like big or whatever and shit like that.
This dick ain't free. Yeah. You're looking at me like you're trying to make ends meet.
Yeah. And like so the first listen through I was like, oh, okay, like talking about bitches jumping on your dick, whatever, blah blah blah. And I think I like tuned it out a little bit, but then when I went back and was listening all the way through the second time, I like really appreciated it because what I liked was like it was less about like, you know, fucking money, sex, drugs, whatever, and more about like how the power and level of fame that he's achieved has like affected the people around him or him, and like how either he or people respond to like that change in his like status or whatever as an artist or as a rapper, whatever it is. And like it was cool. It was just sick to hear on a second time of like, oh no, like even in like the poppier songs on like the whatever, like he's still talking about like real shit. Like maybe it's more in line with, like I said, like what like, you know, whatever gross like super generated like easy to make like hit rap song is about, right? He still finds a way to like flip that on its head and like make it something real, which is insane. Like it's so crazy. Like you said, it's just like such like he's such a talented lyricist and just like thinker. Really, I feel like to be able to like take the most simple concepts that people are tired of at that time and like find a way to make them interesting and like offer a new perspective on them.
The fool's hella won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, that's insane. That makes total sense to me. 100%. I didn't know that, but that's awesome. That's crazy.
He won it for the album that came after To Pimp a Butterfly. Damn, he won it for that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's another super good album. An album that like when you're talking about like writing, like you listen it from like the original 1 to however many, like I think it's like 1 to like 13 or whatever, and you obviously get like a story that goes in one direction, but it's written in a way where you can listen to the last song and listen to it backwards, and it has like another like not like another message, but like a message told in just like a completely different way that also fucking
you have
works.
The perspective now. Of the whole. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that, or not heard. I saw. Cause like when I woke up this morning, like I was just watching. I literally just typed in like "To Pimp a Butterfly" on YouTube and like started scrolling through like the shorts of like just little clips and stuff. Cause like I wanted to watch a couple things here and there, and I think he put like they asked him on a radio show. I don't know how long ago, like what his favorite albums were, and he put that one as his favorite. Damn.
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I personally like "To Pimp a Butterfly" more.
Okay.
But I think, again, it's just like, it's one of those albums that had such an impact on me as like a teenager that it's hard to not like be like, this is one of my favorite,
definitely.
like one of my favorite albums
ever.
The
personal attachment.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, like you learn about like slavery and all that stuff like in school or whatever, but you don't really learn about what goes on in modern America.
Yeah.
So like for like that was like my first really like insight into like, oh, this is like what's going on like in his immediate community. And this is how like black people just feel like in general. I was like, holy shit, like this is.
And that's now, 2015. Even still when it's only 9 years ago, that's still very current. Like,
exactly.
It's still happening. Yeah.
Exactly. And like, again, he just has a way to make songs that are catchy but have like such a good like message to them, like
definitely
like Mama's another good one that has just like an insane like just an insane beat to it, you know. This feeling is unmatched. This feeling is brought to you by adrenaline, ain't good rap, black penitent, ball cap, west. We don't share the same synonym, fall back.
Yeah, he's insane, dude. It's pretty crazy. Like it's definitely like, I think I always like had a idea that like he was the best, because that's just what I heard from people like having conversations about it, right? But at least listening to this album, like I for sure understand now, at least in comparison to like other stuff that I've heard, right? Like I obviously don't go like super deep into anything, but like I was saying, I've probably heard a lot of songs, I just don't remember them, right? When they come up, I'm like, oh yeah, I do know this or whatever. But like of modern stuff, I've never heard anything I don't think anything like of modern rap stuff has ever had me actually tune into it the way this has, for sure. So
it's super good, dude. Because like again, like Good Kid, Mad City is the one that put him on the map, and that is like that's very much like him telling a story of like where he's from, and like this is like him after his success having like 3 or 4 years to like experience what he did experience. And like going to South Africa, seeing all the things he's seen, and then coming back and seeing like Compton just like in like a new light, and just like writing about that, and writing not from like a perspective of like I have all the answers, but just from like, this is what I learned and this is what I seen and this is my perspective. Like, here, take this as like as what you will. And he like says that as an like at the end of his poem, like you know, I'm no mortal man. Maybe I'm just another dude or something like that. You know, like I don't know. Like I don't have all the answers. Like I could just be just another person just pulling shit out of my ass and saying this. But this is just what I've seen and this is what I've learned. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like it. Yeah, I love it too, because like I really like. I think one of my favorite like not like a turn, but like just like response to that whole like interview bit is it's like I forget exactly what he asks him, but he's like something along the lines of like, what do you think's going to happen next for like my generation or something, like our current generation of stuff. And like the Tupac response that like he put in there is something about like, everybody thinks we're still playing around, like just stealing shit from like shops and stuff like that. But like, I think the next step is like bloodshed, right? Or something like that. And like, you know me, like I do not really believe in violence at all. So I was like, ooh, dang, that's kind of crazy. I don't like that much, right? But then I love his response because he's like, that's crazy. Like, I get it, but I agree. But like, from my perspective, all I have left is my music and like the vibrations. Like, that's our last hope. Like, that's our last like line of survival right there, is like reaching people through like this like medium, this like art form that is like possibly doubly effective, right? Because it's like lyrics are very powerful, and I think they can change the world. I believe that if
Mm-hmm.
it's the right lyric at the right time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the right thing at the right time. But I also really like too that he brings up the idea of like the vibrations is all we have left, because like that, like I've always, I think, resonated with that more. But it's, I never, even still, I don't fully understand why, but like this helps me like realize a little bit more of like, yeah, there's like a primal innate thing about music where like we just respond because they are sound waves, they are vibrations, they're like present in like a way that is not just like cerebral,
Yeah.
right? Like lyrics are cerebral. We take in lyrics and we think about them and they change our perspective on things. And that's like a beautiful thing. That's wonderful. But like the vibration part of stuff is always, I think that's why I'm like more attracted to the music, because it's like the fact that he brings that up too. And especially because it's like most stuff that like really gets into your system and into your shit is like rhythm and like bass,
Mm-hmm.
which is arguably the predominant instruments in like rap is like
Mhm.
the beat and then like the bass,
Mhm.
right? And then everything else on top is as far or as little as you want to go, but that's what you really need. And it's just like such a like subconscious like thing like that, just like I think gets into your body and into your bones if it's like the right thing, that can also just like shift and change the way like you vibrate
Oh yeah.
in that moment, or even after that if you retain some of that in you, whatever it might be. And it's, yeah, it's just crazy. It's a for sure a like view shifting, status changing, like norm breaking album, I think, for
Mhm.
sure, in like in both ways, which is really really cool. And I like that he acknowledges and talks about both of those things. And again, like I said, it's cool because I think a lot of the times like people will put like a certain, like I'm not like the hugest like fan of rap all the time, but it's just because I have fucked up attention span and I
Mhm.
can't get into lyrics,
Mhm.
is really what it is. And that's like really the crux of like rap, right?
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people will like maybe pull away from it or whatever, or at least in the old days. I don't know if this is as much now, but like at that time, I feel like people would probably pull away from it because it was like, no, rap is all about sex and violence and this
Mhm.
and that or whatever. And to have one of, if not the most prolific rappers, at least of like this time, at
Mhm.
the end of this album that is like heavy on all these themes, be like, nah, man, the music is all we have left. Like,
Mhm.
this is how we reach out. This is how we connect. This is how we make a difference.
Mhm.
Fucking sick, bro. I
Yeah.
love that shit. It's so cool.
It's great because like listening to the Big Hit Show, you have like his, I forget if it's like his manager or like his home, but like obviously his friend, but I
Yeah.
can't remember if like what the business relation to him. But his name is Dave Free, and he talks about how like music is like that stuff is like therapy for
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. Like it's not like
Oh, yeah.
he's not like making songs to just like, oh, I'm just gonna make a hit song. Like he can,
No, yeah.
like, and
Sure.
Kendrick talks about that in the Big Hit
He's
Show
that
too.
talented, right?
He's like, dude, he's like, shit that like sounds good and like is catchy. He's like, I can just come up with it like that. Like it's
Mhm.
fucking easy.
Mhm.
He's like, but this shit is really like, it's therapy. This is how like I make sense of like what
Yeah.
I've like
what he's going through,
what
he's gone
I've
through.
gone through and
Yeah.
what I've seen, and this is how like I cope with all that stuff. And
Yeah.
like, you know, like him writing songs where he's poking at his own like his thought process behind like the world or whatever of like, you know, I think that's so smart because it's like we might like do that internally, right? We might question
Yeah.
like, oh, you've gotten all this success and all of
Yeah.
a sudden like blah 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 blah,
Mhm.
you know. But like for him to put that in a song is so powerful because it's like, how many people would do that? Like
Yeah,
how many
no.
people like we all go through the struggle of like trying to like go back and forth with like our morals, like
Mhm.
per se, like, you know, every day and shit like that. But how many of us are willing to go to the state of like, one, talk about it with people,
Yeah.
and two, like go even deeper and like, I'm gonna put this into a song so that millions upon millions of people can fucking listen to this.
I think that's why like music ends up being one of the more like, in my I'm biased obviously, whatever, but like in my opinion, I think that's why music is one of the more like powerful forms of like artistic change, or like inciting change through like artistic means. Is it's like, for one, it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not that a movie can't be, but like a movie is made with a gigantic team and there are people acting.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to inhabit somebody else's feelings, whether it's a character or a real person, right? But like in music, when people can go to the level that like artists like this can and really be like 100% honest about like how they feel about something or themselves or whatever it is, like that's such a direct connection with the artist. It's like, and it's also so like clear, right? Because like I think something like a painting is also a pretty direct connection, because it's like the artist painted it with their own hands and that was it. It didn't go through post-production. It didn't go like that's almost even more raw than like music, right? But you have to interpret that kind of art. And not that you can't interpret music, but because there is a way with like lyrics to like clearly but also cleverly and like catchily convey your message in a way that's like repeatable, because it's just like a fucking jam, but also has meaning. It's like so powerful, because it's like, even if you have a kid who just listens to this album and is like, damn, I really like how that album sounds, I really like how the words sound, and I just want to like repeat that hook. Maybe they're like 12 years old and they hear this for the first time, they don't really know like the deeper meaning of shit, right? They're still repeating like like mantras, like like real shit that it is like, again, like just those vibrations of like a person speaking those things into the universe consistently and constantly is powerful. And like, yeah, it's crazy, bro. He does it all over the whole album.
That's why All Right is such a big, like, was such a big one, right? Because like he's talking about all these things that like, you know, like talking about all the things that black people go through, like whether it be like police brutality or like racism and like shit like that. Like in America, he's like saying all this shit's gonna happen, like all this shit could happen, but if we got God, like we're gonna be all right. Like we're good. Like we're good. And like it's so powerful for like the biggest rapper in the world to say that, because it's like, holy shit, okay, if he believes that, then okay, I believe that, because I believe what he's saying. So now it makes me like, even like it makes it more believable for myself, like just a regular normal person who doesn't have like the power that Kendrick Lamar has of like all the money and blah 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 and stuff like that. Like he's saying all this stuff, so okay, like I feel it.
I feel
you know?
it. I can say it.
I feel it.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's so good. He's just so fucking good at that. He's so fucking good at that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And like songs like Mama are like one of my favorite, because I'm pretty sure that's the song where like, I think the third verse where he says like, oh, I met a little boy that resembles my features, blah blah blah, and I afro, gap in his smile, hand me down sneakers, bounce through the crowd, where it's like he sees himself in that little in that kid, right? And he himself might be so lost in the I'm so big and I have all this money, blah 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 blah, that he doesn't see himself as that kid anymore.
Oh yeah.
But the kid does. He's like, you're still me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, you're Kendrick Lamar, you had the big hit, don't kill my vibe, that you're famous, but like, no, you're still from here. And you're still me, and you still get it, and you still understand, and I still see that. I still see through the fame, the money, and everything, and I see you're still a normal person, so you need to get that, and you need to understand. You know?
No, I like that. I don't remember if it's that same one or if he does this a couple times on the album, but that was one that stuck out to me. Was like, I don't remember what it was, because again, I have a terrible attention span. I have a hard time with lyrics, but he does say something where it's like, oh yeah, like I did the Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe song or something, and it was like this or that, and like I was like, damn, that's fucking cool. Like that's like, to be that self-aware of like, not like, even if he doesn't understand it, he's still subconsciously like putting that out there, so that kid does still attach and respond in that way of like, nah dude, you're good, like I still know you're you and shit. Like it is it's so authentic. Like even if he doesn't think it's even more authentic, because it's like insecure at times, you know, like of like shit, like you said, like I don't know, all this money, fame, and power. That's what he's talking about, like in the teases the whole time, right? Oh, I forget how it goes, but it's like, but they like you abuse your power or whatever.
Oh, you talk about the poem?
Yeah.
I remember you was conflicted.
Yes. Yeah.
Misusing your influence.
Yeah.
Sometimes I did the same.
Yep.
Abusing my power, full of resentment. Resentment that turned into a deep depression.
Yeah.
Found myself screaming in a hotel room.
Yeah. And then like that's all you get in like chunks, right? Like you get that for, I think, does it have that all the way up until
it so like the first time you hear it, he goes, I remember you was conflicted.
Yeah.
Misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same. And then it like
cuts.
and then it cuts and it goes to a song where he talks about stuff like that. So I like that every time like he adds a new chunk to where he's talking about like a new thing that he's learned about himself.
The songs reflect that.
The songs reflect that.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really cool, man. It's awesome. It's almost like a table of contents, like for the album that unveils itself as you go. It's crazy shit. It's pretty cool, honestly. It's insane. Honestly, like, I think this is one thing, like, it's not gonna like 100% shift me to like, oh, rap's my new favorite fucking genre of all time or whatever like that. But like, especially just like in having this conversation now, because I was excited to talk to you about this because I know you understand all this like way better than I do. And so like, it's just very exciting and very cool to me, like, of just like the creativity and like the brilliance and like the intelligence of like putting this together, of like how that unveils itself like as you listen to it, you know, like, and it's cool. Like, again, I'm glad we got to talk about this because like that's something I could have never figured out on my own. I knew that I liked it, and I knew that I was like, it's really cool that like he talks about it and then the songs, and then he talks about some more stuff and then the song, and then by the end he talked about the whole thing. And that's what the album was about all along. But like to hear it broken down really analyzed and stuff just like adds even more to like my enjoyment of it already. And it's just like I said, so brilliant, so intelligent. Like, he is a fucking very, very, like, I don't even know exactly what prolific means, but
he's prolific.
He's prolific. Yeah. I think it's a compliment.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a, I think he's a dude, man.
He's a dude.
He's a fucking guy, bro. He's a fucking dude.
Yeah. How Much a Dollar Costs is also one of my favorite songs on that one too. Just because like,
how does that one go?
It's the one where he's talking about like the experience he has seeing like the homeless man, and the homeless man asks him for 10 rand, which is like equivalent to $1. Right. And like Kendrick being like a big star, and like not even being like a big star, but I think just like a viewpoint a lot of people can have with like homeless people is like, oh, this dude just wants $1 so we can go get fucking drugs, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And that's something that he poses like to the homeless man, and the homeless man is like, hey man, temptation is something that I fought, so I fucking get it. He's like, but I just want $1 for blah, blah, food or whatever it is. And Kendrick throughout the song is just like, nah, I'm not going to give you this $1. Like, whatever. Like, I've worked hard to earn my fucking money. He's like, so I'm not going to turn around and just give you this money or whatever, my hard-earned money, and you're just going to blow it on fucking drugs, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And in the song, it just turns out that the homeless man is just God, just God. And at the end...
Whoa.
What was that?
I don't know. I heard it too. Siri?
I didn't like that, dude.
Was it Siri somewhere?
Check your phone. My phone's up there.
That one? Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. It sounded like Siri, bro.
I know.
Ooh.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Just get back to talking about the song.
But so basically, like at the end of the song, like the homeless man turns out to be God.
Yeah.
And he tells him like, he's like, oh, okay, so you don't want to give me the $1. Let me tell you who I am. I am blah, 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 blah. I am God. So the price of that $1 is actually heaven. So you're not getting into heaven because you wanted to be so selfish about that. Yeah. You know, he's like, so peace out, homie. And it's just like, it's such a clever song, right? Because, again, I think a lot of us can fall into that, like, oh, they're homeless. They're homeless because of X, Y, and Z. I think we can, you know, generalize. I think a lot of time we generalize the homeless population into like people that are like drug addicts or whatever, you know, and it's like, damn, we don't got to be selfish. Like, okay, like, cool. If they're going to fucking blow it on whatever they're going to blow it on, whatever. It's like, but let's just be helpful, and let's just like help people out. And if people are asking for help, like, let's help them out, because we don't fucking know.
You don't know. You never do. Yeah.
You never fucking know.
No, it's true, man. Definitely. Yeah, I think that's one thing. It happened to me. Like, I kept trying to look back when I was listening to it, like at my Spotify, because like every transition in the album is so clean. If you haven't listened to it like multiple times, it's hard to remember like which song starts and ends where. But it's also like, I think it's a compliment, like in my mind, because again, like I like that of like, I need music wall to wall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to stop. Like,
No,
just
yeah.
give it to me the whole time, even if that
Mhm.
music is just conversation, or like a beat, or like even a sound, like a sound effect or whatever it is, or like a person like screaming or moaning or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me something. Like, I like the idea of like the album being the whole album.
Yeah, it being continuous because it sounds like
Sounds intentional.
it sounds intentional,
Yes.
and I like it when all the songs like blend together nice because
Mhm.
obviously it shows that like they as like artists, you know,
They
with it-
they put the extra effort.
they put the extra effort
Yeah.
in to be like, okay, what songs are gonna go well together? How
Yep.
are we gonna transition these songs?
It's
right?
almost like DJing.
Yeah.
It, like, in a sense, where it's like you have to take in mind like what is gonna come out and go into the next thing the
Mhm.
best way.
But like also keeping the like when you produce it like that and you make all the songs blend together like
Mhm.
that, it keeps like the illusion of like this is all like one piece of like work. Like
Yeah,
this is one piece
definitely.
of work that you're
Yes.
listening
Yeah.
to that you have to listen to all the way
The
through.
way-
Not that
yeah.
you can't like pick and choose your favorite songs from this album,
No,
right?
Yeah.
But it's just like
That's how it was meant to be
yeah,
consumed.
the intent of this
Yeah.
album is to be consumed as a whole, so
Yeah.
you can listen to the whole message.
Yeah.
And then after, pick and choose what songs
Sure.
you want to
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to or
No,
whatever,
definitely.
blah, blah,
Yeah,
you know.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of those ones, man. This is
Yeah,
one of those ones
definitely.
that forever is going to be in like probably like my top 5 albums like of all time.
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
I could see it. Yeah, definitely. Like, I think even just in talks of, because I think the 2010s to now, I mean, we'll wait to see what the 2020s have like overall. It's only 2024. But in terms of like the 2010s to like even now, easily I could see how this is like one of the greatest. If not, maybe one of, if not the, at least rap albums,
Mhm.
right? Probably greatest.
Me personally, I think so. I feel like a lot of people, at least for me, I don't see people talk about it that way.
Yeah, but you know
Like
what else though?
I feel like people always talk about Good Kid, Mad City, and they always talk about Damn, and I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes To Pimp a Butterfly gets lost in the mix of being sandwiched in between those two, like
Yeah.
those two really fucking great albums.
But yeah,
But it's like, to me, like the cultural impact is undeniable in this album.
I was going to
Like-
say, I think, honestly, in a weird way, the greatest of all time don't get talked about
Mm-hmm.
that much because it's too easy
Mm-hmm.
to be like, oh, that's the greatest. People want to have conversations. They want to have
Mhm.
debates. They want to like be like, no, this is better because this
Mhm.
and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But in my mind, anyways, the stuff that gets talked about the least is probably the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't know, like to go back to like old school stuff of like when Billy Joel was around, in my mind, easily the greatest band from like that point, that time, is the Beatles. Nobody ever talks about the Beatles though, because it's easy to talk about the Beatles and say that they're the best band of the '60s and stuff like that.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
I feel like if
you're probably right.
Just
But
when
I
you-
feel like for me, like I always hear people like, yeah, the Beatles, man.
Well,
the
not that
fucking Beatles.
not that nobody ever says that they're the greatest, right? But
Mhm.
like I just feel like there are certain people who just like, or certain artists or certain albums or whatever it is that just like transcend a like rating scale so
Mhm.
hard that it's just too easy. It's unfair almost
Yeah.
to say like, oh yeah, like this is why I think this is the best. But it's just so good, you know, that it just
Mhm.
like goes beyond. And I feel like this album and probably even him in general is one of those, which is like, yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of the times I hear a lot more about like other rappers,
Mm-hmm.
but anytime somebody talks about Kendrick, it's like, yeah, he's probably the best.
Yeah,
You
I think
know,
it's also like he's just not he's just not out there. He's not in our
That's
faces.
true. He's not like a
lot.
big pop.
You know, like,
yeah,
Good Kid, Mad City came out 2012. That album came out
He takes time.
2015.
Yeah.
Damn came out I think like 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So like he takes his time, and then like he dropped an album like this past year. So it took him like another like 4 or 5 years to like drop an album, you know?
Yeah.
So like he takes his time.
Yeah.
He's not saying shit unless he has shit to say,
Yeah, for sure.
you know?
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fuck
I
out
love
of that.
that, dude.
I
That's
appreciate
awesome.
the fuck
Yeah,
out of
I
that.
love that.
You know, because he is one of those ones that like anytime like there is a suspected Kendrick drop,
Mhm.
like the world stops, like
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. Yeah, sure,
Like-
I could see it. Yeah.
Like like when Drake's gonna drop, like everyone like is like, oh, Drake's gonna fucking
Yeah,
drop.
but
But
it's
like
not the
when
same.
it's Kendrick, it's like
Not
holy
the
shit,
same,
like
yeah.
he is coming back.
Yeah,
Like the guy
definitely.
is fucking coming back.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, what would you rate this album?
Probably like honestly, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing as before, which is like objectively, I could probably see it and give it like a 10 out of 10, honestly. But because it was a little bit long to me of what I usually like, and because of my own personal flaws in trying to listen to rap music, it's hard for me to follow sometimes. For me, it's probably even still like it's like probably the rating you gave it, like A5 or like a 9 almost. Like it's still so damn good, even though it's not like usually my cup of tea for listening to music. Like I even can't help. It's just one of those ones, you know, that's just like comes along and just does such a good fucking thing with what it is that you can't help but like give it its dues.
Yeah. I think it's like out of pure love, I give it a 10.
Yeah.
But like the critic in me, but not even like being a critic, but like just trying to be like more objective in ratings of things that I like. I think I would give it like a 9.5 or like a 9.7, like very close to that 10 mark.
Yeah, maybe it's like not 100% perfect,
but not on it, you know, because I still think there probably are times like for me where like, you know, like The Black of the Berry, right, is a great song in itself, but it is such like a very like different like tonal switch up from like the rest of the album.
Yeah,
where
it
is
does
like
pop out of nowhere.
It is darker. It is like harsher.
Yeah.
Like is it subject matter that needs to be talked about?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
But it is just like one of those ones where it's just like, okay, like, you know, if I'm listening all the way through, like, okay, I have to gear myself up for listening to this because it is a more intense song.
Definitely. Yeah.
But like, again, it is that album that I remember vividly, like sitting in that family room, like listening to it while I was like playing video games and being like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And like, again, it having such an impact on me because of the stories that were being told and being like, oh my God, like, yeah,
it's a new level right here.
This is a new fucking level. And also like sonically, it's just so different from anything that came out in 2015. Like people weren't like rappers weren't making like jazz and funk inspired albums, you know. It was like 2015 was like when like trap music and like Atlanta like music was becoming like as big as it is now. And like I think that's another reason why this album like sometimes gets lost in the mix of conversations of like this being like one of the best albums in the last decade is because of like it's just so sonically different from anything. You know? Or sometimes like people maybe aren't like gravitating towards that.
Well, like you said, especially at the time, like it's such an outlier compared to that stuff. It's like it just doesn't get talked about probably. Yeah, because it wasn't the popular sound.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. That's not always the best though.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah. Go check that shit out if you have not fucking checked that shit out on whatever preferred streaming service you prefer. Apple Music, Spotify, whatever.
I've never tried Apple Music before, but like I'm such a Spotify diehard that I'm like, fuck Apple Music.
I personally like don't get me wrong, I love Spotify. I think the UI on Spotify is hands down way better than Apple Music. But Apple Music sounds so much better than
sounds
Spotify.
Better?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Dude, it sounds so much. Trust me. Listen to a song on Spotify and then immediately listen to that same song on Apple Music, and I guarantee you it is way better. Clearer. It just sounds better. Like Apple uses like a lot better technology and software. Like they use Dolby Atmos and stuff like that. So shit sounds hella good. Yeah. And they also use lossless, which you can turn that on, which is basically like it reconstructs the audio to its original form.
Yeah, like you're listening to it in the like in the DAW or like the recording software that you use.
Exactly.
Not
and
the
like
compressed shit.
Yeah. So like it sounds so much better.
That's
I love listening to stuff on like at least for me, like I'm such a big audio nerd that I can fucking tell the difference. Maybe the average person couldn't tell the difference, but
as an audiophile, that's like extra like
I can fucking tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate like when I'm in my car and I don't have to turn it up a shit ton.
Oh, that's not me. Regardless of the quality of the audio, I need it as loud as it can.
Oh no, I like turn it up hella loud, but like on Spotify I have to crank the dial a lot more for it to like sound louder. Whereas like Spotify, like or not on Apple Music, it's like at least like like I have to turn the dial probably like a good 30 to 40% less.
I just have, it's because it's also the reason why my hearing is so bad. But like I said, regardless of whatever platform, system, anything, max volume.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give
feel
a
you.
fuck. I need it loud, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite shit.
But yeah, again, I do love Spotify because again the UI, everything just looks cleaner on Spotify. 1000%. It's a lot easier to maneuver Spotify, put things in your queue, like
sure, yeah,
everything like that.
Yeah.
But fuck, dude, the sound on Apple Music is just so good, dude. I'm sorry, like it's.
I mean, I could see it. I think
it's
like
just so good.
Apple is usually quality stuff, you know. But like again, it's just I'm a diehard Spotify.
I feel you.
I've always been Spotify.
I feel you.
They're the original, you know.
The OG.
It's why I still can't discount Netflix to this day because they're the original, you know. Maybe they're not the best, but you got to give them props for what they did.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Yeah.
They did change the game.
Yeah.
They paved the way.
Yeah.
For a lot of the streaming services today.
Fuck, but you know what? I'll take over Spotify or Apple Music any day, bro.
What?
Fucking LimeWire, dog.
Oh god, dude, I haven't thought about that shit.
My music.
I haven't thought about that shit in so long.
Don't offer me any fucking suggested playlists on an algorithm or anything like that. Let me just pick what I want to listen to, and that's what I'll listen to.
So, are you a guy that like saves music to different playlists and shit like that?
Not as much anymore. I definitely used to be, like, especially in high school, but like. Nowadays, I have like what are you? Okay, so actually, more and more, I don't really listen to like traditional songs as much. Like when I get in the car, honestly, like more and more and more, in like the last like couple years, I listen to like scores, either to video games or to movies, and a lot of the times that's just to like. To be perfectly honest, it's just to like relive the moment that I remember of it, like from what it was from. So like I'll listen to like a few of them in a row, like whether it's like the finale of like Endgame, right? Like I love and listen to that shit so much that like when I hear those things, I can literally visualize like what's happening, right? Or like for a video game, it'll be the same thing. So like I have short playlists in that sense where it's like I'll listen to like 3 to 6 songs at a time. And they all make up like a playlist. But like, no, otherwise I just have one and it's just called The Jams. And if I like a song, it goes on The Jams. And that way I know.
Oh, so it's basically just your likes?
Pretty much, yeah. Except I don't just like it because like that is out of control and I don't want to go in there and clean it up because I've had it for so long and it just has so much stuff on it. I've dedicated The Jams to like traditional songs, like has instruments, a band, a sample, whatever, and like somebody singing or rapping or whatever it is on it. That's like my playlist for that. Is it's like I'll just send it there, so then I could just hit shuffle on that when I don't know what to listen to, and something that I like will come up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is. It says it's essentially just my likes for stuff that's not like
I'm just a straight demon. I just add stuff to my likes and I'll just throw my likes on shuffle.
Yeah, it's too hard now. I used to really try to curate playlists because like what I used to do is I would make volumes of playlists. For my favorite artists. So like I would have like a Weezer 1 through 3 or like a Beatles this through that or like a Pink Floyd this through that. And like each one would be playlists of songs that like I thought went good together. And I would usually make them the length that I like. So they were like 40 minutes. Okay. So that way I could do like a few of them that were like different moods or different styles or different eras of their like career or whatever it was. But I just got like I don't even want to say too busy. I just got too lazy after a while to like really go through and try to curate that shit. But honestly though, respect and kudos to people who can make a good playlist. Cause like when I hear one, especially one that's like songs from a bunch of different artists that really do have like a collective like theme to them still, whether that's like actually thematically or just like even in like a music sense, I'm like, damn, that's legit. Like I respect DJs for that, where it's like, you know, oh, they're just playing songs. That's all a DJ does. But it's like, no, there's like it's almost like a museum director in that you have to find the right art pieces, the right music pieces that go together to create an exhibit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a skill in itself, I think, where like I'm not going to sit here and say like, it's more difficult to be a DJ than it is to be like the fucking greatest classically trained pianist of all time. Nobody's trying to tell you that, okay? But it's not to be discounted in that, like,
there's an art
it
to
is
being
hard. It's difficult.
being a fucking DJ.
100%. That's a whole art form in its own right, and it is difficult to learn. You can't just like.
You have to understand like so much like music, or just like not even understand so much music, but understand what the crowd fucking wants.
That's what I was gonna say.
And understanding how to curate whatever music that you have on your
to fit the vibe
to
or
fit
the
the
tone
vibe.
of the room.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the hard part of DJing. Is it's like you can curate as many great playlists as you want, but at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of the crowd, and you have to make sure that you're keeping that crowd going, and that's hard to do. Yeah, it's difficult. It's cool, and it looks really fun when you do know how to do it. But like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's good shit.
If I was a DJ, I would just throw "Water" by Tyler on for 2 hours.
I don't even know what that song is.
You've probably heard it. Make me sweat.
Oh yeah.
Make me
See
harder,
again, bro. There it is.
Make me lose
There it is,
my
bro.
breath, make me water.
Every time, as soon as I hear
Dog is cheap. So show me, dude. That song's
you'd
so.
probably be fine. Honestly.
That song's so fucking good, bro.
You'd probably be fine.
That song's so crazy, and it's literally just It's literally just her talking about getting fucked.
Yeah.
And it's such a good song.
Yeah, it just gets down.
It's such a good fucking
There
song.
are those ones though, right? Where it's like sometimes like what we were talking about earlier, where it's like the lyric side of shit or whatever it is, like could be so simple. Like, yeah, it's just a girl talking about getting fucked or whatever it is, right? But it could be just such a fucking groove, such a jam, such a whole song, whatever it is, that it doesn't matter. It still gets elevated to that level.
It's so good because it's like the beat is like an Afro beat. One, and Tyler is like a super good singer too, so it's like just having a really good Afrobeat and having a really good singer, and like just
easy
having
enough right there.
like,
You're
oh my
good.
god,
Doesn't
it's so
even
fucking
matter.
good.
Yeah,
It's so funny because I was talking to Buddy about that song, and I was like, yeah, she's literally just talking about being fucked, bro, and it's so good. And she's like, well, like I guess like not really, like it's kind of like inconspicuous, like she's not like blatantly saying it. I'm like she's literally saying, make me sweat.
Yeah.
Make me hotter.
Yeah.
Make me lose my breath.
Yeah.
Make me water.
Yeah.
Like what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like that? Like yeah.
Honestly, though, I will say I do get where she's coming from to a certain extent, because
yeah, she's not saying fuck me.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
she's pretty much saying fuck me.
I think though, like in general, when it comes to like pop songs, people are more accepting of innuendo than they are straight up saying it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like I think a lot of the times, like people will probably it's an easier listen if it's not straight up like fuck me, make me wet, make me sweat. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, that sometimes can put people off. So I think it is easier to just like, and honestly, I will say at times more challenging to like still talk about what you're talking about, but then make it catchy and also make it like that innuendo of like wink wink motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, but I'm not actually saying it. Like it's more clever, it's more fun to sing. It is what it is, you know. It's a good time. Yeah, it's a good time.
Make me lose my breath. Make me water.
But yeah, good shit.
Water by Tyler. Go listen to that shit.
Check it out.
Shall we move on to, because you know we do talk about movies, we talk about TV, we talk about all this shit here.
We still have one on
exactly
on deck.
We do have one on deck.
I'm down. I do. First of the year, apparently we're hitting it twice.
There we go.
You boys got to go use the bathroom again.
There we fucking
have you seen this movie before? I did want to ask.
I saw it when I was like really young.
Okay, same boat. Okay, so we're coming from the same thing. Did you remember how hardcore his story was?
Nope.
No, me neither.
Not at
that's
all.
what took me by most surprise.
I tripped out.
Big time, bro. I thought that kind of shit only happened in like the 90s.
I was like, let me know this fool loved drugs.
Like and heroin. Too.
Yeah.
Like not like
loved
this.
heroin.
Bro was, dude, holy shit. Okay, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, I was so tripped out. I was like, I didn't even think heroin existed at that time, honestly. Like,
it's just like, I think it's just one of those things that, like, at least for me, like, the only thing that's, for me, synonymous with Ray Charles is the fact that he's blind, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I feel like no one talks about, at least for me, whenever I hear conversations about Ray Charles, I never hear people talk about the fact that he was a chronic heroin user.
Nobody ever says that.
No.
Yeah.
They just forgot. Like, but yeah, guys, if you couldn't tell by that, we were going to talk about Ray, starring Jamie Foxx. Let me actually look up the rest of the freaking cast list because, you know, I should. I got to be a good host and look up the cast list, so, you know. Give me a second. Make me sweat. Make me harder. But yeah, what's your guys' favorite song right now? I want to know down in the comments, whether that be YouTube or Instagram. Let me know, because honestly, Water by Tyler is my favorite song at the moment, because it's so fucking catchy. Again, when you break that song down, is literally her talking about just having crazy intense sex, which is fucking great. We've all had crazy intense sex before, and that shit's fucking awesome. And I think that's why I love that song. But yeah, let me know what your guys' favorite song is. Also, let me know what your guys' favorite song off To Pimp a Butterfly is. Do you guys like that album? Do you not like the album? I definitely think it's one of Kendrick's best, if not the best, but I am a little biased because of my history with that album, you know? But yeah, let me know down in the comments. What do you freaking think? And let me look up this cast list really quick. I'll be right back. Ray. Dang, 2004. Della B. Okay. Oh yeah, he was in this. Yeah, so Ray obviously stars Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. You have Regina King as Margie. You have Kerry Washington as Della B. You have Sharon Warren. You have freaking CJ Sanders, Henry Lennox, Curtis Armstrong. All these motherfucking star-studded cast, bro. I was kind of also tripping out on the cast, you know, because obviously I knew Jamie Foxx. Yeah. But I didn't know Regina King. I didn't know Kerry Washington. I didn't know all these freaking people were gonna be in this shit.
Isn't Terrence Howard in the movie?
Yeah, Terrence Howard is in the movie as well.
Yeah, definitely star-studded. I agree. Ugh. Did you give him the synopsis yet?
I didn't, but I mean, Ray Charles is basically just a biopic of Ray Charles's life.
Yeah.
Not his entire life. It pretty much picks up like when he's first going off and gonna start doing his music thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's pretty much about his life.
Yeah.
You know?
It jumps all over the place.
Mm-hmm. It goes pretty fast. I think I tripped out.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was pretty fast. But then when you think about it, it's like all this stuff happened pretty quick in his life.
That's
so it's
true.
Like,
it's only like a 10-year span.
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
like,
right?
so how else are they going to film the movie, you know?
I think at times I had the same critique that I had for Zodiac, which is like the jumps just kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But everything that happened in those, after those jumps or before those jumps, I really enjoyed. Like, I think the movie is really good. It's just like the transitions and the cuts are kind of intense, where like they very much feel like snapshots of like, okay, here's this part of his life, and then we're going to show you a tiny little snippet of what his childhood life was like. Okay, here's this next part of his life, back to the childhood stuff, blah, 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 so on and so forth, so that it like all comes together for the ending.
Yeah. I will say that is probably one of my critiques of the movie, is that I wish we would have lived in those moments a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was pretty quick of like...
It doesn't feel natural. Like, the cycle of all of it.
Yeah. It's almost like, oh, you know Ray Charles's life, so we're just kind of like going to get through this. And I don't know fucking Ray Charles's life.
Me neither, yeah.
You know, so I would have liked to have like lived in the moments of like him growing up a little bit more, like him like, you know, doing the shit with his music career. Because like I felt like it was pretty quick where like he felt pretty like shy and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like a ladies' man.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna touch all your wrists. Like that was so
crazy,
fucking
bro.
funny.
That was fucked up, but that shit was funny, bro. That was crazy.
He's just like, oh, let me touch your hand. I might do that shit one time.
It's crazy.
Bro.
It's fucked up. It's funny until like you realize why he's doing it. I think because then like they're like, I don't know, man. He just like that's how he says he knows if they're attractive or not, and then like. They show like the fucking like montage of him like touching all the girls' wrists or whatever when he's in like his ladies' man phase. Yeah. And then he comes up to like a larger woman who's a little bigger and feels like the bigger wrist, and he's like, "Oh no, baby, not you."
Yeah, he wasn't trying to see if they were attractive. He was just like trying to make sure they were skinny.
Yeah,
that was the only thing.
I was like, "Damn, bro, you motherfucker."
Yeah.
But that
he was body shaming back then, and he could even fucking see.
Crazy though, because like I feel like that is one of the things that is. Like a point of this movie that like I liked, which is like
he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, not to like he was. Like, and it's I don't want to say nice because that sounds weird, but it feels real to make it a point of like they could have easily made a movie of like the struggles that he had specifically because of his like disability, because he was blind, right? But instead of that, they took it a step further and they told the I assume close to the real story of how things were with his history, like regardless of the fact that even though he was blind and like somebody that you would typically, you know, pity or have mercy on or like be a little more careful around, still hurt people in a very real way and still fucked people over and still
hurt people, man.
Seriously, like did crazy shit. So like, yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. I think Jamie Foxx does really good. I don't really like him that much, to be perfectly honest. He's not my favorite actor. I've never really listened to his music, so I don't know what that's all about. But I think he does a really good job in this movie. I would laugh when it would go from Jamie Foxx to like the singing, because they just used Ray Charles's voice. It got better for me the older he got, because like I think Jamie Foxx did a little bit to try and sound like older as the movie goes on, and like it fits slightly better, but it's still jarring to go from like...
He did learn to play the piano though for the movie, which I thought was really nice.
And he looks good. Like you can tell that he's actually playing for sure. But that part just cracked me up a little bit of like, oh, there's Ray Charles.
Yeah, I was definitely very taken back by just, again, how much of like, for lack of a better phrase, just like piece of a shit he kind of was, just because I think a lot of the times you hear Ray Charles, like when you hear someone talk about Ray Charles, it is more in like a
well, they talk about the music, right?
Yeah, they talk about the music
he had on music.
Yeah, and he's definitely spoken about in like a better light, you know, or at least every time I have heard him, it's definitely not about him using heroin or cheating on his wife and
fucking up his relationships. Like
exactly, like I never really hear shit about that. You know, so it was definitely jarring for me to see that and being like, whoa, this dude kind of like me struggling with the like, you know, it's like we talk about it nowadays, right, with like separating art from like the artist and stuff like that. And like, you know, us like being so young and not being privy to that shit, you know, is like, I was taken back by it and it was like, wow, like
crazy.
Oh my gosh, this dude fucking did heroin. Like, holy shit. Like, he was just hella down for it. Like, oh my gosh.
Addicted.
And fucking shout out to Fathead. That dude,
he's
was fucking, he was the real one.
Yeah.
He was the one saying like, no, Ray, you don't want anything to fucking do with this, you know?
Want no part of this, man.
And like, like, you know, does Fathead have his flaws? For 100%, sure.
Yeah.
But
he was looking out for him, though.
He was looking out for him and was just like, hey, man, you don't want any, this isn't weed, brother. Like you don't want any part of this whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Ray was just like, fuck, man, tie me up, dude.
Yeah.
Shoot the shit for me.
Also, I can't remember his name, but the driver who becomes like his main dude, basically, that dude was the homie too, and he got like fucked over for sure too.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I don't know how accurate it was that like he was actually stealing shit. Like, I couldn't tell if like the new dude, the guy who plays the fucking army general in Man of Steel, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, it's that guy. But I couldn't tell if he was like messing with shit and like making it look like he stole or took money or whatever it was for like the gambling shit or whatever it was, or if he actually did it. But either way, it's like, damn, he was paying this new fool like hella more who hadn't been there all this time. And like, same thing that kind of happens, like, it's as the movie goes on. Like, I think the thing that points.
To me, the thing that I got was like Ray was very like impressionable
at that time,
like because he couldn't, like, obviously, like he couldn't see and like he was doing a lot of drugs, like he
couldn't think straight.
Like, I think it was very easy for him to get lost and like, oh yeah, this shit sounds great. Like, oh my gosh, we get this big house for my family. Like, this dude introduces me so well. He does all this fucking shit. Like, I think it was easy for him to be like, all right, cool, let me get closer to this guy because like he's bringing me all these like super fancy things or whatever.
Things that they say you should need to be happy, or that like is the like idea of success, especially at that time, you know.
But pretty fucking nuts movie, man. I was super down for it. I really liked it. Was it my favorite biopic? Probably not.
No, I agree.
But I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it is a good one. Yeah, I love all the music in it. Like, he has classics like all from the beginning to the end, and like it's really cool. I really liked seeing something that in my mind, like from my perspective at this point in time, or like growing up, especially like in probably like around high school, like end of high school ish, like really getting into blues and like that probably being like my favorite genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see when that was like not the shit. Like when people were like, oh, that's the devil's music and shit, right? Like that's such a tame thing now. Like I think for most people, right? Like in today's day and age, nobody's going to look at something like blues or rock and roll and be like, they're selling sex and drugs and like that's the devil and shit. Like
they're like, can you sell me more sex and more drugs, please?
Well, yeah, and even beyond that, I just mean prudish people even nowadays, I think have gotten over that. Like because things have become so much more blatant in like certain genres here and there, right?
I wouldn't say prudish people have gotten over it. I think just prudish people are no longer the majority.
Well, that's fair,
in
but
the world.
My point in it is that like, it's funny to me where today's day and age is like, you can literally say anything in a song, and pretty much nobody gives a shit anymore. It's mostly fine. Are you gonna have a little bit of pushback from like that small part of the community? Like, yeah, sure, maybe, but it's just hilarious to me to see something that is like. They were getting offended because he was writing a love song over a gospel song.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like she to give me money when I'm in need. That's like such a beautiful, like that's such like a real honest thing of like, damn, I got a woman who takes care of me. But they're like, you're singing that shit over Jesus's music, over God's music,
not Jesus,
dude. It's like holy shit, bro. Like damn, they're freaking out about that shit hardcore, and it's just crazy to see like again what it by today's standards is like such a tame thing. Be like the forefront of like, oh, that's like pushing the edge and the envelope. And like, again, that being like probably my favorite genre of music and just like my favorite shit is to see when that was like first becoming like the it thing in like the 50s and like into the 60s and stuff. It's just cool. Like I like seeing the time when that was pushing the envelope in the way that we were talking about, like To Pimp a Butterfly and shit, you know, like that's like a Kendrick Lamar of that time, you know, especially once you get into like some of the racial shit later when he like, you know, got fucking banned from a whole ass state because he refused to play a show, like and shit like that, you know, like I really like that because that was really like the beginning of the movement that has led to like all of the stuff that we get to now, right? Was like them doing the work back when like racism is still prevalent today. I'm not trying to say that, but like Jim Crow was still a fucking thing back when they were alive, you know, and like literally black people were still being hanged and shit. Like, so yeah, it's cool to see. And I do appreciate it for that. Cause like, again, they also don't really sugarcoat it. Whereas like at first he's kind of like, nah, man, I just make music, and if people like it, they like it. Like, it is what it is. And it takes him a while to come around to the fact of, like, oh, no, okay, I am, like, a prevalent person I'm a prevalent person of color, a black man who has a large platform. And if I say something or if I do something, that's going to mean something to people, and that'll, like, reverberate out throughout this shit and everything. And it's cool to see that, like, maybe it's more sad and tragic than it is cool, right? Because it's like, damn. That was happening all the way back then, and it's still happening now. Like, not that nothing has changed. I'm not going to go so far as to say that, but they have not changed it far enough in like a positive direction to where you can just you don't have to fight for your rights anymore. You don't have to fight for this or that anymore. But yeah, it's crazy. It's a trip. But it's also very cool. Like I said, in a weird way, I guess, just to see the history of it, you know, like a snapshot of the beginning of like what is a long ongoing fight of like, yeah, music is power, man. Like you can use this shit to fucking change the world or whatever.
Well, yeah, like you're saying, like we were talking about with Pimp a Butterfly is like, or like when I was saying like from the Big Hit Show, like when he dropped I and like people weren't the most down for it because like it wasn't talking about like what people wanted him to talk about and like the things that were going on with like police brutality and stuff like that and how like similar that, you know, like the Ray Charles story was like, you know, when he's going to like the concert in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and Quincy Jones is trying to tell him like, hey man, like it fucking sucks down there.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
is why I don't go
It's
and
like, I'm
play
never
there.
playing there again.
Like, cause it's fucking terrible. And he's just like, hey, yeah, well, like whatever, man.
Yeah.
And how he is, and
Yeah.
it takes that moment of like that man like in the crowd of like talking to him to be like,
Mhm.
you know, fuck it, like
He's
we're not
right.
playing.
Yeah,
You know, he
yeah.
is right. You know, and
That's, yeah.
it's like it's nice to see that, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like, okay, here, like you're saying, we have this very prominent black man in music at the time
Mhm.
who is, you know, making music not just for his community, but like you see how like even white people are like
Yeah.
super down for it as well.
Yeah.
And like to see, like it's cool to see him take that stand, but it also sucks to see that it took that for him to take that stand to get that right. Like he had to be like in the midst of it.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's crazy too though, because like I just was thinking right now, like when you brought it up of like how people were upset that Kendrick didn't release something that was more political, is it's like, it's crazy how the tables have turned to where like we live in such a like politically charged society now that is so loud about your personal politics that like, whereas back then they would get angry at you if you release something that was political. Now they're getting upset at the prominent black man who doesn't release something political. Like it's a crazy shift. I don't know what it means. I'm not smart enough to analyze that any deeper than that. But that's just such a trippy thing to me. Is it's like, yeah, that like he was not that you need to be afraid if you're not putting out like political music now or anything like that, right? Like you're probably fine. Nobody's gonna fucking bat an eye. But they will listen to you more now if you're talking about real shit. Versus like back then it was the complete opposite.
Yeah, I think it's just more so like understanding the voice that you have.
Yeah.
Right? Like regardless of like, oh, I just make music for myself and I just want to make music for people to have like a good time or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. But like when you have like millions of these fans that connect with you through your music and feel a certain way because of the things you say in your music and how like shit like that, like you have to understand that you do have like a bigger voice, right?
Well, especially if you are a person who comes from the same background as like people who are suffering because of a prominent problem in that point in time or now currently, whatever it is, you know.
But I think that also like in the movie that just goes to show like now we're so connected through social media, it's easier to show like to go to these artists and be like, look at what's happening here, look at what's happening there, look at what's happening there. Whereas like back then, like
he literally had to be in the crowd.
Yeah, you had to be in the crowd. He had to be boots on the ground and be within the environment to be like, oh shit, like look at what's happening and like look at how these people feel. Look at how strongly they feel about this, you know? Like they feel strong enough to come and protest and stand like when my bus is coming up.
Yeah.
And like yell at me and try to say these things, and this guy has to come up to me and tell me like, hey man, like blah blah blah, like you need to take a stand for this, and like he's just like, oh shit, like you're fucking right.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You're fucking right.
I also wonder too, because like the thought just occurred to me as well. Is it's like it is a movie. Who knows if that like specific scenario actually happened?
Yeah.
Like they make stuff for drama, but I would like to believe that like there was some story that somebody close to Ray Charles or like part of his team at the time told that's like somewhat close to what happened here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to believe it happened that way, that someone in the crowd like moved him so much to where he was just like, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
They're
And
right.
it's believable too in the way that they present his character, the caricature of who he was at that time, right? Of like a person who was so, I mean, shit, blind.
Yeah.
To like what was going on. Yeah, is that messed up? Sorry if it is. I don't know. I thought I was being clever, but like a person who is so unaware of how much pain they are imposing on the people in their lives because of something that like they think they have under control, right? Because like the whole time he's always saying, and he like really continually convinces the people in his life, like as soon as it starts affecting the music, I'll stop. But that's kind of like a double whammy because he's so fucking good. He was one of those greats, like just in musicianship and just like artists in general, to where like it's scary. Some of those people are hooked on drugs heavily, but it doesn't affect their songwriting. In fact, at times, sometimes that makes their shit even more raw or more heavy or more real because they're just that good.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that it's healthy for them as a person or the people around them, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy shit, dude. Because it's like, I feel like you see that with like, especially in music, right? Like, I feel like a lot of musicians like fall prey to like hardcore drugs, and like that ends up being like how they die.
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean we have all of them. You have
Well,
like,
the 27 Club is a thing mainly because of musicians,
Yeah.
like, and it's crazy. It's scary.
Kurt Cobain, Mac Miller.
Yeah, Amy Winehouse, I think, as well. Jimi Hendrix, like a lot of greats who just like fell prey to shit that took them away from the pain, the real pain that they experienced in their lives, right? Because I think that's another thing too that's like important to mention is it's like I personally don't believe that like people are born evil or born pieces of shit. I think that happens to you because of the circumstances in life. Like some people can argue otherwise. That's fine. Whatever you believe, that's up to you. But personally, I think evil people are made because of circumstances. And like the fucker went through some crazy shit. Like was so traumatized and like fucked up that like I don't think he like let his brother die. Right? Like, did he technically? Yes, but like he was a child and was afraid. What was he gonna do? He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
He was so like, and like beyond that too, like within I assume like a year or two, like depending on what happened, like with the aging of stuff, went fucking blind, and then had to be separated from his mom because she couldn't give him the education that she knew he deserved, or knew he really needed to be able to survive in the world on his own, right?
Exactly.
So not to say that it's like an excuse to do hard drugs or anything like that, but a lot of times people don't just get into it for the fuck of it. It's like because they have really heavy shit that they cannot begin to process without the help of other people, or maybe they're not willing to accept help from other people to deal with that shit. So they turn to something that's a quick fix, that's easy, that just numbs the pain or gets you out of there or whatever.
Yeah, he has like a line that he says to like Fathead. I forget what it was, but he's just like, bro, he's like, I wake up every day and it's like it's dark and I can't fucking see and I'm alone every day. Like don't tell me I don't know fucking shit about shit.
Yeah, I think he's talking to his wife, bro. I think he's talking to what's her name? I can't remember her name.
I think it's then too, but it's also like the first time he does like heroin.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he's Fathead's just trying to tell him like, no, this isn't blah blah free. And he's like, bro, like I wake up every morning and I can't fucking see. I'm in darkness and I'm fucking alone. Like shut the fuck up. Like
it's crazy, dude.
Don't tell me I don't know shit about like not.
Yeah, no, it's wild. So it's like to a certain extent, like, do you ever agree with it? No, but do you understand it? In this movie and the way they present the circumstances, again, I don't know how accurate it is or isn't or whatever. I feel like it is understandable, Like I don't think he's ever really like the villain of the story in my mind. I don't know. Is he an asshole? Yeah. But he's always like the person that you want to see pull through with the way that he's presented in the movie, because you do understand his pain. And you do realize his background, and they do a good job, I think. And Jamie Foxx does a great job of like portraying the pain that he does go through every day, and like the uncertainty that he does go through every day of like, damn, yeah, he's just trying to cope.
The one scene that I did think was like a little much was like when he gets sent to rehab and they're doing all the like, he's just like
there. The ending in general I don't like. I think the ending in general falls short for me because it's like they introduce like a lot of like really heavy duty things that he fucks up on, where like he fires fucking homeboy, like his best friend or whatever, right? Like all that time, the dude who started as his driver. And then the other dude like starts to become like a prominent role in his life, and you get the idea that like he's kind of a snake, right?
Yeah.
And then fucking what's her name dies? Teresa, is that her name? Or
Margie?
Margie, is that her name?
I'm pretty sure that's
her
name.
Okay, yeah, probably. I forget. Anyways, yeah, she dies, right? Like all these crazy all these crazy heavy duty things happen, and then he gets in trouble again for the heroin, right? For the second time at like the federal level, and he can't get away with it, so he has to get sent to rehab. And then all the cheesy rehab shit happens, and then they flash all of a sudden to like him. It's kind of crazy because like physically he deals with this shit, right? And he's like, from what we understand, like no longer like physically dependent on it, but emotionally and mentally he still has a lot of work to do, which the doctor tells him. And then he gets up to walk away and he just falls over, and then he like flashes back to his mom and his brother telling him like, it's okay, you've done a good job, and then the movie's over.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, okay, no thank you. Like that, the ending for me kind of sucks because it's like, you built up all these big problems over the course of the movie and like all these relationships that he's damaged. And then in typical biopic fashion, they end on like a heavy dramatic kind of like spacey psychedelic tone.
Yeah.
And then they wrap it all up with like still images and titles. And they're like, this is what happened to this guy. And this is what happened to this guy. And he was fine with his family. And then they have like the one like post-credit scene where like he gets accepted back into, I can't remember where it is. It's some state in the South. I think it's where he's from, right?
Atlanta.
Is it Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Georgia.
Yeah, it's Georgia. Yeah, because they make the official anthem too, Georgia on My Mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the one scene you get afterwards, but it's just him as like an old man or an older man and like the family and stuff, like accepting the award. And then it just goes back to the titles again. And like, yeah, the ending to me was like a little bit unsatisfying because I thought they didn't really do like as good of a job as they should have of trying to wrap up all the loose ends that they left. So I was kind of like, okay.
Well, yeah,
it's over.
I feel like the whole movie was like written and presented to you as like, oh, you already know Ray Charles' life, so we're kind of just gonna go through.
I will say
like the points with you.
I will say that like it could just be the time frame that we're watching it at, because like typically, I have noticed that when an artist, especially like a musician or an actor, passes away, everybody and their fucking mom all of a sudden is like the biggest fan of that person because the internet is so accessible. Heard it too, because the internet is so accessible and so like great at letting you actually understand a person's history in the span of like a day. Like if you really want to, you can figure out everything about a prominent artist in like a day. If you know life it and you spend all day on fucking YouTube and Wikipedia and shit.
Oh yeah,
easy, right? So you can, like, I'm not saying, I personally don't think you should like shit on somebody for being late to the party, right? Like if you've been a fan of fucking something all along and then all of a sudden they're like, you know, somebody who just got into it is a big fan, don't be a gatekeeper, man. Like that's more people who love the shit that you love. It's cool. But
if it's one thing we're not doing in 2024, it's gatekeeping.
Yeah, but like but my point of bringing that up was that like I think this movie came out the year he died. So a lot of people going to see the movie were probably huge fans of Ray Charles, you know? So they were probably making it for a specific audience at that point in time. I think I'm sure had no like, you know, ideas of the fact that he was going to live much longer than like 10 years or something. He was probably like an old man at the time that came out. So I could see why they would have like jumped over that stuff at that time, you know? But it's also just very, very different from the type of biopics we get nowadays too. Yeah. Which like I don't think always try to take you to the end of their life so much as they just try to cover like their career when they were like the most like famous or popular and shit, you know?
Very true.
But yeah, I agree. It was just a little too all over the place at times. Like I really enjoyed the moments and the acting and like everything about the movie making aspects of each individual section. I thought it was done really well. It's just like how those are all put together. Yeah. It's not a great package. Like it's too different. They're just too many random sections of stuff.
Yeah, I wanted it to be a little bit more like just
like a story from start to finish.
A little bit more of a story. Yeah. Like it just felt like there was all these moments more that history. They kind of just strung together. Yeah. Like I said, I wanted to live in those moments just like a little bit more just so I understand like I want to feel like what's going on. Yeah. If Jamie rather Foxx, than like you just are like, here, this is what's going on and cool, we're going to move on to the next thing. And cool, he recorded this song and boom, we're going to go to the next year. And he was doing a lot of drugs this year and boom, he also made this song. And you know, it was kind of just like
if like Jamie Foxx and the rest of the supporting cast aren't doing as good of a job as they are, because they are really good.
Oh, they killed it.
The movie's not nearly as good. Yeah, because they sell you on that at least enough to keep you engaged the whole time. Of like you can see how well of a job they're like inhabiting those emotions and those feelings and those times, like where it's like, okay, I do want to watch this because you're killing it right now, but. Without that though, I think it's too documentary like. Yeah, it just moves too quickly. Of like, here's the key points. Exactly. Let's go to the next section.
And then like he has like two kids, like right. They just show like the first kid being born, then all of a sudden one time he has like two kids, and you're just like, whoa, like okay, so we're just not gonna make a big deal out of like the second kid like at all.
That part makes sense to me because like he was an absentee father, so like. seeing as how the movie is from his perspective, it makes sense to me that like there's not a big deal on it because he was an asshole at that time who wasn't there for his kids, right? He like had checked out mentally.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'll just buy you guys new jerseys.
So if it was a choice, if that's the reason why they did it, then I get it. But maybe they were just lazy, and I'm trying to make excuses for them or something. You never know, right? Like, who knows what the intention was? But yeah, like it does have its downfalls, but overall, I think it's a pretty good biopic. Like, I don't think it's a bad one. Is it the best? No. Certainly not the worst either, though. Like, I don't even really think it's bad. It's just transitionally from point to point, it's not the strongest. That's all.
Yeah, editing's not like the greatest. It's not the strong aspect of this movie.
Yeah.
Where the movie shines is the acting for sure.
The musical numbers are really cool too. I think they do. What I do like about the movie a lot is, it's one of my favorite things in biopics particularly, is when they can like kind of capture the magic of I think it's fictional because they really can't know what happened in that moment unless they were there, right? But when you can capture the feeling of a musician bringing what is now like a famous fucking song, right? Because usually these things happen after the fact. Like probably a song that you maybe don't even want to hear played anymore because of how famous it is. When they can capture the feeling of people hearing that song for the first time, which they do a lot in this movie, I fucking eat that shit up. I love that because it's like, ooh, damn, you can feel the electricity. Like you can feel all the people in the room. Even though I know this song, even though the song is 50, 60 years old, I can feel the excitement in these artists of like, oh, fuck, we're on to something, dude. Like this is the next big thing right here. And I like when they do that, and they do that pretty good in this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. All the times that they're in the studio and they're making all the songs, like those are for sure my favorite moments.
It's fun. It's like a good time. Like even the dramatic moments are like juicy, you know. When like what's her name? What is it? I said Teresa, but that's not
Margie.
It. Margie. When Margie's like fucking all drunk and like singing all the notes wrong and shit and stuff, like even that stuff is fun to watch. Yeah. It's like studio drama and shit, you know. Sheesh. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah. Shout out to Della B because she was holding it down.
Held it down way more than he deserved.
She didn't have to. Yeah, she didn't fucking have to hold it down.
That's a good fucking woman right there, dude. Yeah, crazy shit, honestly.
For better or for worse.
100% was down with being married in like the most traditional sense, literally.
Yeah.
Some better for worse shit. Like, but also too, like, divorce just wasn't something you did back then.
No,
you know?
yeah.
Like, unfortunately, that wasn't it. Like, nowadays, the fucking comedy show that me and Ev went to go see last night, have you heard of Marcelo Hernandez? He's a newer...
No, but I think she was telling him about
He's like a newer member on SNL. Super funny, but like he has like a whole thing about it where it's like as crazy as it sounds and as unfortunate as it might be for kids, it's healthier for parents to get divorced if they're not good together than it is for them to stay together and create more intense shit in the house, you know? Like, and that just wasn't a thing back then. Like, you just didn't do that. Like,
granted, she is in like a unique situation too, where she like, it is literally also probably like the best to have like all the things available to her that she had for like her kids as well.
Yeah.
At a time where like, you know, as a single black mother, it would have probably been very hard to provide for
two kids on her own. Also, even considering who her husband and the father of her kids were too, like it would probably have been less healthy for him to be acting the way he did in the house all the time than it was for him to be on the road and away for them and then connect with them eventually, as I figure he does once he was like clean and sober, you know, which is like fucked up. Like it's not good, but it's making the best of a bad situation.
Exactly.
You know,
it's like what else can you know?
Exactly.
What else can he do?
No, what else can she do too? Like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's crazy, hardcore shit. But again, I think a good movie overall. Like I still enjoy it. I don't know. The musical moments really got me, and again, that's like a bread and butter thing for me when it comes to these kinds of movies. So like, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10, maybe like a 7 or a 7.5 if I'm being a little more objective. But I'll land on an 8. For it. I liked it.
I was thinking 7.5.
Yeah,
I was around the 7.5. Like, I think I wanted to enjoy it more. I wanted to like. This was one of the movies where I wanted to like be bawling and like be crying at some points because of like not that I knew where it was going, but once I saw what was happening, and like,
Yeah.
holy shit, like this dude like didn't lead like the easiest life, or like at least didn't do the necessary things to make his life as easy as it could have been, you know?
Yeah.
And like seeing the situations he was putting himself in, and seeing the situations that the people like closest to him were dealing with because of his like drug use and stuff like that, I thought I was going to get, like, I thought it was going to evoke a little bit more emotion from me. It just didn't, like not something like a Walk the Line did, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't have like the big heart-wrenching moment at the end is just too rushed.
Yeah.
I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Like they do a decent job of trying to build up and weave through the idea of like, okay, at the end of the day, it goes back to, and I like it, like thematically and on paper, I think it's good, right? And like his mom told him when he left, don't be a cripple, which I think is like maybe a little problematic by today's standards, right? Like you don't call people cripples, but
yeah, definitely
like it's
not.
pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But this movie came out in 2005. It's a different time, whatever.
That's such a crazy
Give
one.
it the excuse you want to, whatever. But anyways, she tells him for, you know, it's in the movie. I'm sorry, but the whole thing is like, don't be a cripple, and then he thinks he does a good job, which he does in terms of his like physical disability, right? Like he's very independent for like a blind person. Like people at that time are surprised like at how well he can carry himself. But then the big reveal at the end is like, you still became a cripple because you got addicted to heroin. You got addicted to drugs. Like you still failed or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Make it better now. And like, again, on paper, I like that. Like, I think that's smart. I think that's good writing. I think that's a cool idea to like trick the audience, right? Of it's like, oh, when you hear a mother, again, this is the fucking like old South and shit, I'm sorry, but like when you hear a mom tell her blind son, don't be a cripple, and like you see him be as like independent as he is, you're like, he did it or whatever, blah blah blah, and then you see him get dependent on something else, right? It's like, that's good. But it's so fucking rushed because you get like maybe 3 scenes of like him and his mom in terms of the flashbacks. Like there's one in the beginning, there's a couple in the middle, and then maybe there's like one more before the final one. But there's like no more than 5 scenes of that shit. Yeah. And then at the end, it's just so quick of like, again, the doctor tells him like, if you want to get checked out, you're going to have to deal with your mental and emotional state. And then what happens? Oh, he falls over and he deals with his mental and emotional state in like 5 minutes in like a quick scene. So it's like, I get where they were going for that big heart-wrenching moment. It just didn't feel very earned. It felt too rushed.
Yeah, that scene didn't hit as much as I wanted it to. Nah. Granted, I did get a little choked up when like his little brother came and he was just like, hey, like it's okay, like it's not your fault. I was just like, it's not your fault.
That was good.
It's not your fault.
Good
but
hunting shit.
Yeah, but again, like I think the stuff with his mom could have held like a little bit more weight for sure by the end, because like you have like a lot of the stuff throughout where like he gets like the flashes of her like in his dreams and like and things like that, and
he
like
has every straight PTSD too, where like he thinks he's in water.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think they do some pretty good job at like laying the groundwork to have like a big emotional payoff. But like you were saying, like it felt rushed, and I think that's why like for me like it's around a 7.5, just because stuff feels rushed. I was just like thinking about it too, like. Yeah, we do go through his life like pretty quick, but like we were saying, like shit happened like pretty quick for him. So it's not like
it's only like 10 years, I think. Right?
So it's not like that's not like the logical way to do things to like kind of show like how fast and how crazy kind of like things came at him. Yeah. But I do wish like some of the stuff outside of like the behind the scenes music stuff, as much as I do like it, like was just lived in just a little bit more.
I think that's also what makes it so disappointing too, right? Is it's like you have these relationships that you like to watch and you're sad to see fall apart. And you have these cool representations of him dealing with his trauma, like, oh, all of a sudden he turns around and he feels like he's in a room full of water. Like there are these good ideas that just aren't like capitalized on. Yeah. And it's like, damn, like you set me up really good, you just didn't knock down the dominoes to match it. Like the setup doesn't match the payoff in this movie. I think it's a really good setup for the most part that has its flaws, but like at the end they're just like everything wraps up in like 20 minutes. Like from him firing his best friend and then going through the second time he got busted and then resolving everything and then like the end of the movie, it's like 20 minutes. Yep. It's super quick. For which sucks too because the movie's pretty long. It's like 2.5, 2:20.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so like it's not like they didn't have the time.
Yeah.
They just rushed it at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Exactly.
But again, still, I enjoyed it. Like again, for me, it's still it'll probably still sit in an 8 because of the music stuff. Like that really gets my jollies going. I love that
Gets
shit.
your jollies.
Gets my jollies going, man. Sugar's my sweets, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Sugar's your sweets.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
No.
I like it a lot, but yeah, it's good. I don't think it's a bad movie.
Nah.
I've definitely seen worse biopics. I've seen worse movies for sure.
Yep, 100%.
So, it's good, but
1,000%.
it has its problems. That's all.
But yeah, guys, Ray, go and check it out.
Yeah,
I'd
still recommend it.
Hell yeah.
If
I
you're a
would
lover
recommend
of
it too.
biopics, especially musician biopics, I would recommend it.
Hell yeah.
Go check it out.
How crazy was it that his life was almost low-key set up like at the beginning? Like all he had to do was just keep fucking that old lady. And like,
Kinda
he
crazy.
wasn't like making hella money, but like he also had a place to live that he didn't have to fucking pay for or anything like that.
Yeah.
And like,
I get it though, because
You
it's
know?
like also too he like finds out later from I can't remember his name in the movie, but it's Warwick Davis. And he tells him like, hey man, they're fucking playing. Like honestly, I could agree if he was just not making a lot of money and like only thing he had to do for rent was like bang this old chick, I'd be like, yeah, that's kush. But he was getting ripped off though.
oh yeah, 100%.
They weren't paying him the money that he was earning. So like, and that's really the reason why he leaves, I think, at the end. So like, I get it. But yeah, that shit was cracking me up too. It's pretty funny. I loved like in the beginning too, where I was laughing where he passes him the joint, right? And he hits it and he's like, man, that ain't no tobacco. And he's like, oh, fucking hold it in a little longer. It'll make you feel good. And he hits it and he's all, I like whenever he just does like that little Ray Charles laugh, like that fucking Jamie Foxx shit, it cracks me the fuck up, bro. I was laughing my ass off.
It also tripped me out Quincy Jones being in this fucking movie.
That was so
too.
cool.
I was just like, holy shit.
Seeing
like,
him as a kid too. That was another thing that I liked was like, I love when you have movies like this and like it happens in other stuff too where like these people who are legends now are interacting with each other as like normal people, quote unquote normal people.
Because
like,
Quincy Jones is such a big namesake like in the music industry.
Huge.
Just like just not even like in any specific genre.
Even
just
has
like,
a legacy too, bro.
Yeah.
Rashida Jones is his daughter.
Yeah.
Like moving on and doing her own thing and
Exactly.
everything too. Yeah, like that's a big name in just entertainment business in general.
So I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I was like, Quincy Jones.
It's like such a big name drop, but he's like such a regular dude at that time. Yeah.
Just a regular dude that couldn't get into the fucking club to like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's good shit. I love that. I love when they do that in these kinds of movies.
Where's the Quincy Jones biopic universe? I need the Ray Charles cinematic universe built out.
I've noticed it either comes right at the end of their career or if they were like whether because they were problematic or because people had issues with them. If they were a problematic person, it happens like many years later.
Yeah.
When people have like calmed down about it, you know? So it depends. I feel like so, and I think he's still alive.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I'm sure once he gets a little older, once he's getting closer to the unfortunate passing age, they'll probably make something. No way they won't.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, guys.
Check out Ray. Yeah.
Check out Ray. Go and buy it somewhere. Go and rent it somewhere.
Yeah.
Do whatever you have to do to watch this
the-
movie. Because,
it's worth it.
yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. Not time wasted, I would say.
Hell yeah. But yeah, guys, that was episode number 87.
Damn.
If you enjoyed it, if you liked it, if you semi-liked it, you know, give us a follow, give us a like, rate the podcast on Spotify. You know, give us a little 5 stars or 4 or 4.5 or whatever you feel. Be honest.
Give us 5 stars if you liked it, and if like you were lukewarm on it, give us 5 stars. And if you didn't like it, then give it 5 stars.
Exactly. Whatever you do, give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
But follow us on Instagram, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcasts, TH4TV, TOOHIGH4TV, and you already know, motherfuckers, it's the number 4, like 2024.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
We're not writing shit out here.
Hell no.
We're symbolically
2024,
putting things down.
the year where we
doing
all
all
become
of that.
symbolic.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, episode number 87. I didn't tell you my name before, but I am one of your hosts, Ryan.
I'm your other host, Daniel.
And guess what, guys? We are motherfucking out of here.
Bye-bye.